Whoa! Look at this pretty hair, kids.
Oh.
Got all fucking dressed up for fucking Fat Man Beyond. Welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey! If you're wondering why this is because I literally just came from a photo shoot, a Jay and Silent Bob photo shoot. And that's why I may look made up as well. I don't normally make myself up, nor do I fucking normally. Look at that, kids. It's that simple. There's your childhood. Fucking lies, nothing but lies. I was just talking to my friend before about, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this yet. There's well, fuck it. There's a Muppet show that's coming to Disney Plus.
Muppet Mayhem?
Called Muppet Mayhem. Very good. From Adam Goldberg. And I may or may not have been on set and whatnot. But I was talking about how being around the Muppets was like, you know, I'm fucking now a hardened professional in this here entertainment business. And, you know, I've met fucking famous people and shit like that, legends. But, you know, once you know how the sausage is made, maybe the magic loses a little bit of its flavor. But I was reduced to fucking childhood when I was on set with Muppets, because it's not like animation where it's just like, you know, oh my God, fucking, I love these characters. And they're like, well, then you'll see them in 9 months to a year, because that's how long it takes. When you're with the Muppets, they are alive the moment a hand goes up the ass. And most of these cats who've been doing it for like ever keep them on. So like you'll be having a conversation with the person who works the Muppet, but they keep the Muppet going. So like you're talking to a human and the Muppet's alive in the conversation, and you keep like, I'm not even talking about when they have the Muppet talk to you. You're just talking to the Muppeteer, and they're still doing this shit, looking around, and you feel like there's a third party that you're having a conversation with. And it's absolutely fucking magical. Like, and so low tech. You're talking about one of the oldest art forms on the planet, right? Like fucking a puppet, for heaven's sake. But my God, it works like fucking crazy, man. Hopefully it's not lost on the TikTok generation. I hope the Muppets still have as much fucking magic for like a kid today as they did for us. Do you think they do, Marc?
You know, I'm not sure. I remember feeling very kind of old and crestfallen when the Muppets and Sesame Street moved to HBO, which they did for a while. And like I felt like
they're still there.
Yeah, like I felt like
you can find the episodes. They got rid of half the episodes or some such shit.
Yeah, it felt as if we failed them. Like they were giving us a public good, and all we had to do was once a year buy a fucking tote bag, and we didn't buy enough fucking tote bags. And suddenly they needed the patronage of Daddy Warner Brothers to make the Muppets go. And it's like, what? It was free. It was a public good. It was ours. Anybody could watch it.
You make me cry.
And yeah, we didn't just get enough shitty fucking umbrellas from the Helena Rubinstein Foundation to make the Muppets free.
Oh my God, you were fucking narrating my childhood. This program is brought to you by a grant from the Helena Rubinstein Foundation.
Like you.
Kids, we're old men talking about old men shit. The moment you hear a fucking middle-aged man talking about how we failed the Muppets, you know that you're watching Fat Man Beyond, kids. Welcome back. It's been a red hot minute. Last time we did this, we were live at Smodcast, Baxter Ides of Marc, and what a fucking great time that was. But since then, so many things have happened. Tell them where you went.
I was in New Orleans for the Overlook Film Festival, showing a little picture called Splinter, which was, what a wonderful experience that was. I mean, we played the Pan-African Film Festival here in LA, which was great. But I always feel like film festivals in your hometown are a bit like Comic-Cons in your hometown, which is, it's not quite as special because it's not a destination. Like you don't go to that place and invest in that place for 3 or 4 days. You go home every night.
Right.
But going to Overlook, which is all about horror and all about genre, and it being in New Orleans, and New Orleans being a spooky fucking city anyway. It was just so much fun, and it was so supportive, and everybody there was really welcoming to the short. They had nothing but lovely things to say about it. And it was great. And spending 4 days in New Orleans is automatically a good time.
Tiffany, our dear friend, Tiffany Smith, who was there with you.
Indeed.
Sent photos and shit. I couldn't get information out of fucking Marc. He was busy being a fucking celebrity director and shit. But Tiffany was like, she was texting me being like, greetings from New Orleans and stuff, with a picture of her and Marc. And I was like, oh my God, how'd it play? And she said, through the roof. And then she sent a picture of like a fucking packed house watching the movie and stuff. Now, when we did Fat Man Beyond at Smod Castle, after the show was over, Marc showed it and shit. And one of my favorite moments in Smod Castle thus far has been, for those of you who are like, what the fuck is Smod Castle? That's the movie theater, Smod Castle Cinemas, that I own with my friends back in Jersey. One of my favorite moments that has happened at the theater since we took it over in October didn't even involve me. It was sitting in the back of the theater and cucking out on Marc while he was up doing a Q&A that just wouldn't end. It went on for like an hour. And by the time we started the movie, it was like fucking almost midnight. I think we went to midnight or past midnight. But like, people had great questions, and fucking Marc was holding court and answering them and shit. And I was like, oh, that's my man right up there. It was so sweet. And normally, like, I'm a man who appreciates Q&A. It's like how I made my bones in this business. But watching somebody else ascend with Q&A was, in my own theater, was wonderful. How was the Q&As in New Orleans, as they say?
I mean, they were good, but when you're part of a shorts program, which we were, they just, everybody is up there as part of the Q&A. So it's like me and the Splinter team, and then the writer directors of the other 5 or 6 shorts that are there. So it's less an intensive hour-long sort of investigation of a movie, and more just kind of a glistening off the surface kind of chat, a round table, as it were, with a bunch of other people, which was still great because all the other shorts were really interesting and very well done. And all the other filmmakers were super great, and smart and sharp and funny. And no, it was lovely, man. Like, there was no part of it that wasn't a good time. And every shorts block we were in sold out. Oh,
fucking A, well done.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's our fault, but it's our fault.
You did it. You made it happen. The in chat, long story short, Austin, Harley's boyfriend, who was in Clerks 3, played Blockchain Coltrane. I was over at my kid's house. That's right, my kid has a fucking house. If that don't make you feel fucking old. And my kid, like, fucking lives on YouTube, on her TV. I was gonna say big TV, but it's not as big as my TV. But on her TV, she don't fuck with it on her phone or a laptop. That's what she watches. She don't watch television and shit. She watches YouTube on her TV. And her favorite thing in the world that runs constantly on fucking a never-ending loop are videos of people walking around Disneyland. There's a whole fucking sub-market of this shit, including Peter Sharetta, who runs Slash Film and has like created Slash Film, ran it for fucking years. Peter Sharetta is the one that took me to see The Dark Knight for a press screening, fucking like when The Dark Knight came out and shit. But Peter Sharetta's got a side hustle I didn't even know about, where him and his lady just fucking go to Disney and make videos all the time about fucking things at Disney. They're massive Disney fans. So my kid, like, I remember at one point, like, I was like, why are you always on YouTube? And she showed me, she's like, I love these videos. And I was like, I know that motherfucker, man. That's the guy who runs Slash Film. She goes, no, that's the guy who does whatever the fuck it's called, whatever her show is. And this is what the kid lives for, is these fucking videos of people that go to Disneyland and literally just shoot the entire experience. Like, we watched one video where a guy's like, this is Indiana Jones from fucking years ago. This is the Indiana Jones ride with a new paint job. And like, goes through the whole ride holding the fucking camera, walks through the whole park. She was watching a series of videos of like Toontown. They reopened and fucking did new things to it and shit. So anyway, we watched, I was like, hey man, if you're gonna watch something on YouTube, What about your old man and shit like that? And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I can't believe I got a kid. Don't even know I'm on fucking. So I said, I do fucking show all the time. And it was right after we had done the live show from Smodcastle. So I said, fucking, here, give me that. And I fucking typed in our show. And Austin, her boyfriend, was a big YouTuber back in the day and shit. Like he just lived for that shit. So he was like, oh my God, look at how many fucking views you have. And you're not fucking monetizing it correctly. You don't even have super chat. I was like, what's that? And so he went in and changed all the fucking settings and shit and put us up on super chat, which super chat is apparently people like can fucking give money to ask questions and shit. So long story short, Will Wilkins, who of course is DILF Man, Banff Man won't be with us today because Banff Man is in the UK going to Celebration right now. But we got a special report from Banff Man, which we'll get to in a minute. DILF Man, Will Wilkins, who took over, when JC couldn't do show before, is doing the show today. Jump on in here, DILF Man. And he fucking put a bucket in the jar. What's up, DILF Man?
Hello.
Thank you for that fucking $1, my friend.
Oh, there was a dude who just asked a $10 question.
What?
You're talking to the $1 guy.
Where's the $10 question?
I'm sure if you scroll back through it, you'll see. Oh, you can even click.
Oh my
on it.
God, Joshua
Oh.
Mundal.
Yeah. that's
Kevin, did
awesome.
you receive a delivery Friday that was not for Jen's birthday? Was it flowers? If so, yes. A gigantic fucking bouquet of flowers that I had to explain to my wife was not from, like, she was like, who are you fucking? And I was like, I'm not fucking Josh Mundal, I swear. If that was it was for me and my mom. Thank you. My mom's in the hospital right now. So if that's what it is, yes. And then he said, Mark, did you go to Ricardo's, Dookie Chase's, or Floyd's to eat while in New Orleans? Answer his question. Because he paid fucking $9, $10 almost to ask the question.
And I feel like this is going to be the end of the show as we know it. Like suddenly we're building like an aristocracy. Suddenly there's a 1% of question askers.
Exactly, Mark.
And so it's no longer just I asked a good question. I'm in the feed, they'll notice. And I was like, excuse me, sir. Here's my shiny $10 piece. I've got a question for these gentlemen. Never mind the rabble. I want to know something first. Anyway, Joshua, I did not eat in any of those places. I went to Coop's Bar in the Quarter. I went to Parkway for my po' boys. And then I kind of and of course I went to Cafe de Monde for beignets. But other than that, it was a little bit catch as catch can. The festival had me moving, so I didn't get a chance to kind of wallow in the French Quarter as I usually do.
Bijou, who did not pay for a super chat question. So just to prove to you that we're still dealing with the plebes as well, kids. We're not like fucking icing anybody out. But Bijou said super chat, but YouTube takes 30% of every contribution. So we're never going to get rich doing this fucking show. Never, ever, ever. So Austin, God bless him, he thought this would change everything. IS Bricks goes, here's $10, dance monkey dance. You damn Skippy. I don't give a fuck how many years I've been working in entertainment and shit, or if I work for Netflix or not. $10 is still fucking $10. I grew up in an era where $10 was like everything. I'm a 70s kid. So if somebody throws me 10 fucking bucks, you better damn Skippy. I'm gonna be like, this way, sir. Like, trust me. Fucking, I still appreciate the value of a buck. In any event, super chat is on if you're into that shit. Believe me, you don't have to super chat us and stuff.
Fucking Daddy Warbucks rolling in. Go buy me a fine fat goose and answer me this question.
I love the mixture of fucking two childhood classics of Dickens and Annie itself, Daddy Warbucks. Kids, this is Fat Man Beyond, and we haven't done it in a month, so you'll excuse our fucking excitement. I guess not a month. I guess we did it. Ides of Mark was the 15th, 16th. I think we did it on the 17th. Right. So it's only April 10th. So we missed it by a week, being a month between shows. But as you heard, with good reason, Mark at one point was in New Orleans. Did you fuck with that spooky house that they had in American Horror Story? That's like Anne Rice country right there.
I do not fuck with spooky houses, man. Like they had a whole like immersive kind of experience where you can like go into this hotel room and do this thing and have a seance and whatever. It's like, nope, I'm good. I don't have a good time getting scared. So, and I don't want to be scared in real life. So like I went with one person. It wasn't even an escape room. It was some like slightly immersive thing. And I just spent the entire 20 minutes looking for the seams so that I could be like, all right, this isn't real. This isn't real. I don't have to punch anybody. That's fine. Because if somebody fucking touches me in a dark hotel room, I'm gonna punch him. So like,
some people pay good fucking money to get touched in a dark hotel room, man. You're just looking a gift horse in the mouth. Holy shit. Fuck all that. We got pounds, bro. Pounds.
Sterling?
Pounds sterling, man. Lewis Burridge says, I give you my shiny money and ask how Splinter is going down. Can't wait to see it. Answer that man's question, Mark. He gave us 10 fucking pounds. That's got to be worth like $100 American.
I just want to say I agree with Mark. This is not a good thing.
Automatically gone off the rails.
We'll do this for 1 week and then probably never again. But still,
Lewis
what's happening?
Burridge.
The floor is yours, Lewis Burridge. Sir.
Well, Lewis, I'll tell you, Splinter is going down very, very well, incredibly smooth. We are at the point now where I think we are going to finally fulfill all of our Kickstarter obligations and send the short to everybody who helped us make the short. You know, we wanted to give the festival sort of space. It's time to have it exclusively. We've done so. We're going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, bring it to Comic-Con. So if anybody is at Comic-Con and wants to see it, they can do so. And if that's the case, then yeah, like it's time to just fucking drop the link in some emails and let the 2,700 people who helped us make it finally see what they paid for.
Now, what can they fucking like throw that up on YouTube or no?
It'll probably be via Vimeo, a little bit more protected than YouTube is.
That was my question. And shit.
Yeah.
Even though here we are on YouTube, we're talking about how unsafe it is.
It
It ain't unsafe anymore. We got pounds sterling. Answer the question. Oh, bro, they're stacking up like jets here, man. There's a $15 question. There's a $20 question. $9.99, another one. But hey, the fuck, man. No, I'm kidding. Well, all questions are valid. While we're here, Swisted Films, you're right. This is the end of the fucking show. For 15 fucking bucks, man. I'm trying to win the lottery so I can hire you and Mark to help me make my Tom Waits-based movie. Think Stand By Me, but with Tom Waits and Red Savine. I went silent because of fucking Red Savine. I mean, look, we all love Tom Waits and shit, but like Red Savine, who talks about Red Savine this day and age?
I don't even know who Red Savine
Twisted
is.
Films, I hope you fucking get that money because I know two dudes that'll help you out.
Who's the other one?
$20 question from Nick X Dillinger says, I open my wallet. Please open your ... mouth, asshole, whatever you want, man. You asked a $20 question, Nick. That's fucking real money and shit. Dart Car for 11 bucks says, hey guys, love the show. How did Ezra and Thrawn survive the jump into hyperspace with the windows blown out? What a good question. I mean, fuck, we're going to talk about Celebration and we're going to talk about that Ahsoka trailer, which essentially looks like Rebels Part 2 and shit. I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that question. Bro, somebody just asked a $49 question.
What the fuck?
I mean, fuck making movies. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm just going to sit here and answer questions for money, man. Fuck. This is the best thing that ever happened to me, ever. I don't give a shit if it is the end of the show. This is a good thing. I don't know how they escaped, but I bet you Mark has a guess. How did Ezra and Thrawn survive the jump into hyperspace with the windows blown out?
I have no fucking idea. I've never seen Rebels, so yeah.
That's a legit answer right there. My guess, the Force. There you go.
I mean, smart.
Let's fucking find out what somebody wants to know for $49. How the fuck does that happen? I can't even find it. There you are. Oh, it's Josh Mundall, man. Kevin, did you give Jay and Jordan the Grogu outfit gift? Oh shit. That's our boy who was at fucking the Ides of Mark, who was like, if you show fucking Excalibur on June 21st, I'm there because that's my birthday. Remember? He was the one who was right up front. She came all the way from Austin.
He had signs
to go to the show. He had signs. He was our Let's Make a Deal guy. That's what it said in the card. The card that came with the flowers that said, I'm the Let's Make a Deal sign guy. And I was going like, did I buy a Let's Make a Deal sign? Now I'm putting it all together and shit. I can't wait to get off the show so I can tell my wife, I know who those fucking flowers came from. And yes, I am having an affair with him. He came all the way from fucking Austin to go to the Ides of Marc. And he also went, of course, to Fat Man Beyond the Live show. But he had come to see the Muppets when I did the movies that made me, the Muppet movie and shit. And I wasn't there because I was away. Something that I'll be talking about in the near future and whatnot. But yes, did I give Jay and Jordan the Grogu outfit gift? Absolutely, I did. Oh my God, Josh, stop paying money to ask questions like that. That's way too much money. But thank you.
I feel like such
$49 fucking bucks. Jesus, man.
I feel like a cam girl.
Right? This is so hot, dude.
$11. What do you want to see?
Yeah, I'll show you, Ted. I don't give a fuck. Ed gave us £5 fucking sterling to say, Kevin and Mark, you make me so happy. You make me happy, motherfucker. DG gave me $4.20, $4.20. He said, enough said. Class right there. Gabriel Lopez for $20 says, Kevin, your thoughts on season 3 of Mando so far? Love you and thanks for the inspiration. I'm honestly, I've enjoyed it. I know a lot of folks have had issues and shit like that, and they're like, why isn't this show about the Mandalorian anymore? But I legit love that one episode that was all about Dr. Pershing. And I do love Bo-Katan, so I like that they've been following her storyline and whatnot. We'll talk more about the Mandalorian in a red hot minute and stuff. But Gabriel Lopez, fucking A. Oh my God. The prescription hipster for $17 says, hey, Kevin, what's going on with Muse Moose Jaws? Delayed till you are free or canceled? I mean, fuck, I hope it's not the latter. Yeah, it's just been delayed. Honestly, Lionsgate, the good folks that we've been in business with, you know, they did our home video for Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and they produced all of fucking Clerks 3. Smod bless them.
Mark, you want to just go grab some food? We can leave him here doing this for a little while.
No, it's cool.
We'll get to everybody. I should stop. Stop super chatting us, kids, for a red hot minute. We have so much show to get to. But Lionsgate was like, what else you got? And I was like, I want to do this movie called Moose Jaws. They're like, what is it? I says, it's Jaws, but with a moose instead of a shark. And they were like, how much is it? I was like, $3 million. They're like, we'll make 5 of them. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So it's now just stacked up like jets, waiting for me to get there, man. I think for sure we're going to start the 4:30 movie, which is the next flick I want to direct. We shoot it in my movie theater, Smod Castle Cinemas, in the beginning of September. After the summer movie season's done, looks like we're going to start shooting the movie like hopefully September 1st and shit. Then there was another thing that just happened today, which I can't talk about, which came out of the fucking blue, kids. And I didn't even expect we'd ever make this movie, but suddenly it looks like, oh, fuck, we are going to make this movie. I'll talk about that way down the road, man. So thank you, prescription hipster. God damn it. This is so fucking fun. Bonanista says, Kevin, are you and Muse going to continue the Father podcast? Yes, we absolutely are. What a great question. He's supposed to come over this week for us to record an episode. He's been more busy than me because Jay Muse became a fucking father. His second child, Lucien, was born like 2 months ago or whatever the fuck. Adorable fucking kid. And Muse is like one of the most adventurous fathers I ever saw. He holds the kid in his palm on his arm. He goes, look at this. And he goes like this shit. And I hate being around him and his kid because I'm like, no. But he's, you know, parents know what they're doing and shit. He's such a great dad. So yes, we will be continuing fatherhood. THG Universes, Kevin, have you had time to watch Retro Freaks yet? Dave Ryan, and this just came out of the sequel's budget. Retro Freaks is a movie that played very well, mind you, at Smod Castle Cinemas. And he gave me a copy to watch. The truth is, no, I have not. I've been dealing with some shit, including my mom is in the hospital. I was in Florida all last week. She's actually moved a step closer toward improvement and stuff. They've been keeping her like fucking sedated like fuck. She intubated with the tube down her throat, and she's got another tube up her nose, pumping out her stomach and shit like that. Long story short, don't get old, kids. I know the alternative sucks, but my God, at 77, it was heartbreaking. But look, we're not here to talk about that and break hearts and shit. Oh my God, you're right. This is going to destroy the show. Patrick Quill for $5 says, love your movies, Kevin. Thank you for making them. I love you, Patrick Quill. Big fan of your fucking cousin's work.
I'm sorry, going to?
It's destroying the show already, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you do is you have them bid up for the Q&A spot. That's what you do.
Tell them, fucking DILF Man. That's a good idea. Tell them.
I just did.
I know, but put it into better words than just You should. Tell
Save
him
your
exactly.
super chats for the end of the show during the Q&A session.
There's a guy who's thinking.
Yeah, that's a producer because
He
we
understands
burned.
fucking YouTube. Well, fucking Will does a show on YouTube called Netheads, and he's done it for 1,000 years. So Will is also a YouTuber who understands a thing or two about a thing or two. Thank God he's here this week and not Banff Man, because Banff Man would be too busy fucking blowing Star Wars and shit like that. At least fucking DILF Man could say something smart like that. However, Frumbalax the poodle gave us $37 just to say in a row. That's class right there. Come on, man. That's awesome. Okay. Savoy gave us fucking $4.99. Savoy 1984 pounds sterling. I don't know why I get excited from money from England. He said, thanks for making Mallrats. Was the first that made me feel like I belonged. Oh my God, you're gonna make me fucking cry, man. Like that's legit. That's a legit compliment. All right, no more super chat, man. We got to concentrate on the fucking show. Like fucking DILF Man said before he disappeared and shit. Save up your fucking super chat money for when we get to the question and answer part. Then you can fucking then we might do more than 3 fucking questions if everyone's paying for this shit.
And you can buy our favor.
This is the episode where we jump the shark, sadly. However, me and Marc are going to make an extra $100 to fucking jump that shark, man. It's going to be worth it. We don't give a fuck.
If my favorite part of the show had always been Kevin reads the chat a lot.
That's true. I have to fucking stop. Oh my God, dude. King Ethan just paid us $49.99. He said, Kevin and Marc, no question. Just wanted to say thank you for the content. He flew from Florida to LA to visit JC's bar in September of 2022. He had a blast. He drank 2 Wakanda Forevers. Safe travels to JC from London. Love you guys. King Ethan. The fuck, man. Like, my liege. Thank you so much. How fucking sweet. Kids, stop paying money though. Now I feel fucking guilty. This sounded like a cute idea, but now I'm like, it's real fucking money, man.
I mean, the thing you could do though, you could just do a stream where you say it's Q&A, guys, for an hour. It's just gonna be me. Ask me what you want. Super fucking chatters, get to the top of the list. Otherwise, I'm here for an hour. You don't even have to do a real fucking show.
Did you just hear my fucking brain snap as I realized that you're absolutely right? Oh my God. Fucking my life has changed today as a fucking super chat. I don't know how to make movies. You ask any critic, they'll fucking tell you. All I know how to do is fucking answer questions. That's all I've been doing for the last nearly 30 years. I've trained for this moment, man. The moment where somebody's like, I'll give you $50 to ask you a question. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready for that. But we got to do a show. So let's jump into the show.
We got to do a show. There's some shit that had dropped on the internet. There's some shit that we both seen in the world. I figure we'll cover that. We'll read an ad, and then we'll get into some Star Wars goodness.
Shall we do the ad first?
I don't know, Will. Is it too early for the ad or no?
DILF Man, tell us what to do.
No,
Produce.
man. We've had an hour of questions from Super Chat. I think we're good. This is definitely what we would call mid-roll.
So we're mid. We can't escape it. We're mid. Fuck. I want it to be. What's the opposite of mid?
High? Well, mid is middle.
Mid is middle. Yeah. A lot of people are like, the show ain't even that anymore. Now you just fucking answered super chat questions.
We'll be apex.
Yeah. We're apex. Well, we ain't no predators. I was about to say predators, but fucking that's a horrible thing to say. Kids, this show wouldn't be happening were it not for our sponsors. Although now the game has changed, man. Sponsors, we could have super chatters paying for this whole fucking affair. But one of the fucking sponsors who have stayed with this show through thick and thin, ladies and gentlemen, are the good folks, our good friends at Native. We love Native and stuff. While we're talking about them, give your skin the protection it deserves with Native's mineral sunscreens. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman right now, or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout to get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/fatman, or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. nativedeo.com/fatman, or use the promo code FATMAN. I always begin the commercial with the end of the commercial so that people could follow along by going to that website and shit. But let's talk about fucking Native. I literally put some Native deodorant on today before I went to fucking do the Jay and Silent Bob shoot. Bam! I use the products that we talk about, for heaven's sakes. And I know Marc does as well.
Absolutely.
I love anything that makes me smell like something you want to eat, man. And Native does this shit all the time. You can smell like sugar cookies. You can smell like candy canes. You can smell like fucking flat out candy. That's what they did last month. But today we're talking about this. I love the feeling of soaking up the sun this time of year. Do I? I mean, I hike Runyon all the time. So fucking like, I guess I never thought about it. But I do.
You look healthy. You look like you've been outside in the sun.
Well, number one, I have, but number two, this may be makeup. I don't know.
No, you got a nice glow to you.
Well, I was in Florida and I was fucking going. I did a 3-mile walk around this lake with my brother every day that I was there. And then since I got back, I've been hiking Runyon as per usual. Runyon Canyon is like literally right outside my house and stuff. So it's a 4-mile walk door to door. And historically, Marc, I've never fucking used sunscreen. I will now though, because the good folks at Native have moved into the world of sunscreen. With all that time in the sun, I'm always worried about protecting my skin, Kevin Smith said from his own imagination, not from copy. But with Native sunscreen, I can give my skin the protection it needs and soak up some much needed sun. Native's quickly absorbing, ultra sheer, hydrating, and lightweight sunscreen formula offers broad spectrum SPF 30 protection from UVA and UVB rays, man. I actually should start using this shit, to be honest with you, because I more than I ever do. Go ahead.
As one of our Caucasian Americans, you absolutely should.
Thank you. But as one of these Caucasian Americans, I've always tried to be like white Irish pale. So, it'd be nice to have any sort of complexion other than translucent and whatnot. So when I go out, I never think about putting on sunscreen, but I will now because I trust the fucking good folks at Native, man. They have not done me wrong with fucking body wash, with fucking shampoo, with fucking deodorant and shit like that. Native is amazing. So that being said, man, all Native sunscreen is made with 20% active zinc oxide formula that is dermatologist tested and suitable for sensitive skin, like supposedly mine is. All Native sunscreen is made with oils derived from plants, said this vegan. That seal, and don't get on my shit about being vegan. I almost died of a heart attack 5 years ago. You probably didn't hear about it because I never fucking talk about it. Plants that seal in skin moisture and is vegan and cruelty-free. Cruelty-free we like as well. We love animals. We're not animal haters here and shit. One of us is an animal eater, but fucking,
Not because I don't like them. They just happen to be delicious.
Exactly. He loves an animal, but he loves it a little too much.
If they could taste worse, then I'd be down to not eat them.
Choose from one of Native's 3 delicious but subtle scents, like coconut and pineapple, rosé, or sweet peach and nectar for your face or body, or try Native's unscented option. Fuck that. I'd be putting pineapple all over my face. Coconut, pineapple, those are 2 things that come from the earth that I can fucking get behind, man, and actually put in my goddamn mouth. Because I'm a vegan, but I hate fucking things that grow out of the earth. They said, please mention your favorite scent. Mine is fucking pineapple and coconut right there. With all Native sunscreen, you get protection from the sun that is free of chemical actives, oxybenzone, and octinoxate. That sounds like a villain. Fucking Marvel comic. I can't believe I said Marvel.
Really?
I know. Well, sometimes I deal with fuckers that don't come from our world and shit. You got to be like a Marvel comic book and like, ooh, I've heard of Marvel and shit. Avobenzone, fuck all that, which makes Native sunscreen compliant with the Hawaii Act 104, which was passed in an effort to protect Hawaii's reefs. Come on, man. Native's doing the Lord's work over here, man. Call to action, kids. Give your skin the protection it deserves with Native's mineral sunscreens. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout to get 20% off your first order, man. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. nativedeo.com/fatman. Say it with me, kids. nativedeo.com/fatman. Winky dinky dog. Or use the promo code FATMAN, kids. We thank the good folks at Native for sponsoring this show. Although, fucking now that Super Chat lives and there's a $99 Super Chat, Jesus, $100. Somebody ask a question. With olive oil voices and proper pole dancing charm, you two can make it rain. Paper chasing in Hollywood without even having to work the boulevard. That's from Joshua Mundell. Josh, stop paying fucking legitimate American dollars to fucking say shit. You could just say shit and I'll fucking read it, man. That's nuts. That's a lot of money. $100, man. Josh must be fucking rich. I don't know why I'm fucking asking studios for money. I'm gonna ask Mundhall for some of that fucking sweet Mundhall money and shit.
Super chat me something, man.
How much do people pay me to keep Super Chat on? Because I found out I have access to the on and off button.
Oh, so that you could kill it.
Or more to the point, I can enable it when we really need it during the show.
What a good point, man. Hey, man, CA 69.99. That means Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Daryl Benz from Canada, one of my favorite fucking countries on the planet, says, thoughts on Picard season 3, and thanks for what you guys do. You guys make me laugh. You're the Picard guy. Give it to him.
I am. And that was actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. So thank you for offering us a lovely segue into the podcast we were supposed to be doing.
Don't say it like that. Fucking people are paying real money, man.
Well, why don't you hold that thought, though? Because instead of people subscribing to Super Chat, Kevin, maybe you could tell them other ways they could spend time with you for their money at Small Castle Cinemas or this weekend at Flappers in Burbank.
Jeff's kiss. Motherfucker, you are a producer, DILF Man. Banff Man is just fucking all over Star Wars fucking Johnson and shit. DILF Man actually coming in, producing. We got to have them both on the show. Banff Man and then DILF Man could come in to actually fucking make sure that we're doing shit we should be doing. Kids, do you want to fucking see me in the real world? If you're in Los Angeles, I spend a lot of time in Jersey now, so a lot of people see me at Smog Castle. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, you know, for years, I've been out here 21, 22 years. I've been living out in Hollywood and shit. And, you know, we used to do live podcasts fucking galore. We used to do Hollywood Babylon every goddamn week. Jane, Silent Bob get old every fucking week. But now it's a rare bird. A rare bird. Does that look like a bird?
Yeah, sure.
I guess maybe it should be this.
Better.
Thank you.
It was a flying tree.
Yes, it's a rare tree, a rare Venus flytrap. When I get to do a show here in Los Angeles, but don't you fucking touch that dial, because this Saturday at Flappers Comedy Club, me and Ralph Garman going to be doing Hollywood Babylon, a show we've been doing for 12, almost 13 years at this point, kids. We had a great old time the last show we did. We were supposed to do a show in March, but then I had a thing and I couldn't get back to Los Angeles. So we moved the show to April 15th. So that's this Saturday, man, at Flappers Comedy Club. Come see me and Ralph doing Hollywood Babylon. Ralph Garman, one of the funniest fucking people I know. And I sit next to him and laugh the whole fucking time and stuff. This will only be the second Hollywood Babylon I've ever done without being fucking completely baked out of my mind. As of tomorrow, Mark, it'll mark 11 weeks weed free.
Ooh, that's almost what, 2.5 months?
Something like that. Who needs math when you got Super Chat and shit like that? Who needs weed when you got Super Chat? I might not have been stoned for the last 15 years had I known about fucking Super Chat, because that's worth fucking dancing for, man. Never mind.
I appreciate how Alex Deardoff spent $1.99 in Super Chat to say, please turn Super Chat off.
Alex, you're going to have to pay a lot more than $1.99 to get me to turn this shit off. Oh my God. Sixto Reynoso hit the $100 mark just to say, please call out Two Friends in the Movies with Matt and Sixto, where all podcasts are found except Smodcast. Proud sponsor of Fat Man Beyond, except Smodcast. Proud sponsor of Fat Man Beyond. So there it is, kids. Two Friends and the Movies with Matt and Sixto. $100 fucking dollars. Did you know that you could buy Silent Bob this cheaply?
They shouldn't be able to.
No, they can.
They just
Fuck you, DILF Man.
their show.
Yeah, I'm happy to advertise their show. Are you kidding me? This Super Chat's going to change my life. This will be the moment where everybody's like, you know where he went off the deep end? Where he realized he could fucking beg for money on YouTube.
My favorite part is half of the chat coming in now just saying, what fresh hell have I stepped into?
I
Yes.
saw it coming. I saw it coming 45 minutes ago. This is the beginning of the end, my friend.
If this is the end, then I'm happy to fucking end it this way. Getting $100 from Sixto Reynoso to say two friends in the movies with Matt and Sixto, man. That's genius. Kids, I know you're asking yourselves, well, wait, Hollywood Babylon is happening at Flappers Comedy Club this Saturday. Tickets at csmod.com. Come join us and shit. When can I see you and Marc doing Fat Man Beyond? Well, we are going to be doing Fat Man Beyond in Los Angeles, of course, at Scum and Villainy as soon as JC gets back and we figure out our dates. But I'm going to give you a long fucking term date, way down the fucking pike, as they say, when me and Marc are returning to Smod Castle to do the next Fat Man Beyond from Smod Castle, which is when, Marc?
I believe it is August 25th, if I remember.
I think you're right. I'm going to look at my schedule right here. Smod Castle keeper Ernie O'Donnell is chiming in to tell me not to talk about some other shit. August 25th, 7 p.m., Fat Man Beyond returns to Smod Castle at Smod Castle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey and shit for the second episode that we'll ever record live there. We had a fucking blast. It was one of my favorite shows we ever fucking did. Doing it at Smod Castle. So now the bar is set very fucking high. I believe tickets are on sale right now at smodcastlecinemas.com if you want to get a jump on everybody else. And we may or may not be doing, we talked about in the last episode that we did, we were joking around. It was a fucking pun, or it happened during the Ides of March, during one of the screenings.
Yeah, we were talking about Legend, I think, for like half an hour. And the majesty of Tim Curry. And then I pitched you, because apparently the way to get yourself a screening series at Smod Castle Cinemas is to have the good pun. So the Ides of Marc was a good enough pun to get 3 days to do that. And then I pitched Keep Calm and Curry On, which again, the pun is strong.
How class is that? Keep Calm and Curry On is a proposed Tim Curry appreciation festival.
Yeah, double feature, I think.
Which we're not allowed to talk about because Ernie said, hey, man, don't talk about that yet because first we have to score the movie with the actual exhibitor distributors and stuff. So, but if you're going to come see us on August 25th for Fat Man Beyond, leave August 26th open. Not saying why, but could be that that's where we're all going to keep calm and Curry On, man. Fucking Smod Castle, kids. So much coming to Smod Castle. May I just give you, I know this show seems like one big commercial now, but can I tell you what's coming to Smod Castle?
Shoot.
I'm going to be back there on number one, Mission Hill is coming to do a show on April 14th, man. Like remember Mission Hill, the TV show?
Mm-hmm.
They finished some episodes and they tour them around the country. So they're coming to Smod Castle to do that. If you love Mission Hill, come see them do the live show. They show cartoons, then they talk about it afterwards and stuff. As for me and mine, 420, the high holiday, if you will, you want to spend it with a guy who doesn't smoke weed, come to Smod Castle Cinemas. We're going to show Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot with me and Mooby, the Golden Calf. We're taking pictures and shit like that as well. That's on 420. On 421, which is a Friday, we're doing this thing I'm very excited about called Trailer Park, which is come watch 90 minutes of trailers from the 70s, 80s, and 90s with me. We just sit there and watch movie trailers. Oftentimes, the best part of any movie-going experience, I believe we all agree. These are classic trailers from back in the day, man. Steven, our digital guru at Smod Castle, it kind of stemmed from when we did the Ides of Marc. He was putting up trailers for cool-ass fucking old movies, and I was like, we should do this for like 90 minutes straight. And he's like, we can. So that's happening on 421. On 422, of course, it's sold out. You can't get tickets. We're doing Chasing Amy with Jason Lee, going to be back in town. But like I said, that's all sold out. But get this shit, man. On May 5th, May the 4th, of course, is Star Wars Day. May 5th is Revenge of the 5th. But we're doing a show called Revenge of the Smith because my name is Smith. And so basically, you know, in all my movies, I've always done fucking Star Wars oriented material. Well, we're going to sit there. I'm going to show you every fucking Star Wars scene from a movie I've ever made And then I'm going to pause it and fucking tell you the story of how it happened and why it happened and shit. Revenge of the Smith is happening at Smodcastle Cinemas on May 5th. And then on May 6th, come watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back with me and Jason Mewes. Jason Mewes coming to Smodcastle, man, to show fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Then on May 7th, we're going to show Drawn Flies, which is a movie my friend Malcolm Ingram made in 1995. This is kind of a spiritual sequel to Mallrats because a lot of our cast, they went up to Vancouver and shot this movie about looking for Bigfoot. Jason Lee gives an amazing performance in this movie that was so good, it made me rewrite the part of Banky and Chasing Amy because I was like, this guy could do a lot more than fucking what I give him credit for doing Brody and shit like that. Jason Mewes is in it. Renee Humphreys is in it. I pop up in it and stuff. Scott Mosier's in it, wearing a fucking diaper. Ethan Suplee pops up in. I'm telling you, it's like Mallrats 2 for fuck's sake. Is a black and white Canadian classic, ladies and gentlemen. That's happening on May 7th. Director Malcolm Ingram gonna be in the house. Jay Mewes gonna be in the house. I will, of course, always be in the house. Tickets at smodcastleCinemas.com. And the last thing I'll promote for the time being, but please go to the smodcastleCinemas.com website and see all the shit we got coming, including on well, I'll tell you about this first. We're doing the Jersey Girl, the Snyder Cut, ladies and gentlemen, which on the internet has become shorthand for an uncut version of the movie. The longest version of Jersey Girl that you never saw, including so much J-Lo that you could shake a stick at. All the J-Lo that got cut out of the movie during its theatrical run is going to be playing during the Jersey Girl, the Snyder Cut. That is on May 28th. But, you know, Flash is coming. The Flash. Of course, June 16th. So the weekend of June 16th, June 17th, June 18th, I'm going to be at every nighttime showing of The Flash. Just watch The Flash with me, man. And hopefully we're going to show Batman Returns that week. We'll see if Warner Brothers lets us. I can't wait, but I'm going to see Flash early, man, because what is it, April 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th is CinemaCon. Used to be called Show West. Now it's CinemaCon, which is like Comic-Con for people that own movie theaters and shit. Exhibitors, if you will. And they're showing fucking The Flash like 2 months before it comes out and shit. And I don't know if they're going to make me sign an NDA, but like I'm watching the fuck out of them, man. So I'll be back to be like, it is everything that Tom Cruise says. What did you see that news story where like Tom Cruise saw The Flash and he was like, it's great.
I love it.
I love it. So I can't wait to go to CinemaCon and see the fucking Flash. That's why I bought a badge just to go see the fucking Flash and stuff. And there's other movies they're debuting and stuff, but I'm there to see the fucking, that's the Flash. Any event, bunch of shit happened. If you want to see me on the West Coast, Hollywood Babylon this weekend, this Saturday. If you want to see me on the East Coast, tons of fucking shows at Smodcastle Cinemas. Go to smodcastleCinemas.com or csmod.com for tickets. Thank you for pointing all that out, DILF Man, our producer. I like literally would have forgotten because I'm so enamored of Super Chat. Cannot believe that people are giving money just to say a thing. How lovely. But however,
and Kevin, their comments will be there later. You can click the little $sign at the top of the chat. We can come back to them later. Don't worry about it. Just
is that right?
Yes.
This motherfucker knows everything. Give it up for fucking DILF Man. He keeps popping off the screen and shit, but he used to be down there. All right. Enough about all that.
Yeah.
Shall we dive into the meat of the show?
Let's do it. Let's do a quick round robin of the shit that you and I have seen, either together or apart. You've talked about Mandalorian, the most recent episode of it, the one with Jack Black and Lizzo as space paramours.
That seems like the episode that everyone online is like, that's where it jumped the fucking shark. That's their Super Chat episode, I guess. A lot of people unhappy with the appearance of Jack Black and Lizzo. A lot of people specifically mad that Lizzo knighted Grogu in one of the moments. I didn't bump into that. I was like, whatever. If that's what you want to do with guest stars and shit like that, that's totally cool. I mean, Christopher Lloyd was on the fucking show. Who don't love Christopher Lloyd? But who don't love Jack Black? Especially this week. Fucking Super Mario Brothers like made every dollar in the world. And he's got that Peaches video like on fucking YouTube and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's blowing up.
The song's eligible for an Oscar.
Is it really?
Written for the movie.
But yet, my man, all he does is shows up on Mandalorian, and everybody's like, boo! I didn't bump into it at all. I don't give a fuck. Like having a Star Wars TV show, you'll never hear a complaint out of me and shit. Especially now that we've heard from Dave Filoni at Celebration, they're gonna wrap all that shit up in a fucking movie.
Don't jump the news. Don't jump.
More about that later.
Yes.
But over to you. What did you think of that episode?
I am mystified by this season of The Mandalorian. Because I don't really know what story it's telling anymore, other than maybe we're going to retake Mandalore eventually, kind of. But then again, Din Djarin doesn't really give a shit about that part of the lore. Like he just kind of wants to hang out with Grogu, as does, I feel like, most of the world. And so every episode does not seem to be about him, nor does it seem to be about Grogu. Now we're in the Bo-Katan show, which I love Katie Sackhoff. She's wonderful. I like the character of Bo-Katan. I'm not as welded to her as some people are because I wasn't a Clone Wars kid. So all of this sort of Mandalore lore is a little bit like, okay, it's a flavor, I guess, but suddenly it's become the entire meal that we're eating. And yes, the Mandalorian can refer to lots of different people, apparently. But
that's what I read in a story this week online, like, because it said, like, Pedro Pascal is no longer the fucking Mandalorian. And I thought it was a story about how somebody else plays him and he just does the voice. But it's literally like somebody with the show, not fucking Favreau or Filoni or whatever. Somebody, I think the guy, one of the directors, Rick Fumiyama, maybe, I'm not sure. But somebody fucking said that, hey man, what does the Mandalorian mean? It don't have to mean him. Could be Bo-Katan, could be fucking Grogu and shit. They've what we all thought the Mandalorian title referred to Din Djarin.
Mando
can now be broader about something else or whatever. I don't know. I pass a billboard every fucking day here in town where it's clearly fucking Din Djarin. It's clearly the Mandalorian fucking flying around with Grogu in his arms. So, even though some of the stories this year have deviated, like that one with Dr. Pershing and stuff, which had almost no Mando, just in the beginning and just at the tail end. I don't bump into that. I'm like, look, man, I don't mind they go on flights of fancy and stuff. However, we only have 1 or 2 episodes left for this season. I think it's only eight episodes this season.
Yeah, and so to spend, again, I just don't know the story they're telling, because all right, we're going to spend an episode rescuing this fucking kidnapped Mandalorian kid from weird space vultures. Okay, sure, I guess we can do that. I don't know what that has to do with the main story, but maybe there is no main story. Maybe we're just going back to episode of the week. It's just going to be this, and now it's going to be like, Law and Order Coruscant or whatever, where we've got to find, it's not Coruscant, I know, but we've got to find out like who's poisoning the droids and making them angry, and then it's a detective show. It's fucking Matlock with a couple of Mandalorians in masks asking some questions. Matlock in space. And it's like, but because I don't know what Din Djarin wants anymore, and because I don't really know what Grogu wants anymore, I don't know how any of these episodes are continuing that story. I know what Bo-Katan wants very much. And so maybe it is just becoming her show in the same way that Book of Boba Fett became Mandalorian show, became Din Djarin's show.
Excellent point. That's true. We thought we were watching a Boba Fett show, and then suddenly it was the Mandalorian and Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
And Stanley in chat, who paid nothing to say this, just made me smile, made me laugh. He goes, please hate on Star Wars and Marvel. They deserve it. No, they don't.
They don't.
No, they don't. Remember when there was a world where this shit didn't exist and we all dreamed of like, why don't they do this shit as a TV show? And now they are. I can't hate on it, man. Even if like fucking Jack Black's got a bushy beard and playing a big character, I was happy for him. I was like, look, he's in Star Wars too.
The Jack Black Lizzo thing didn't bother me, just because the entire episode was bothersome to me. They didn't stand out as like, oh, it's their fault. Like, no, it's actually, I don't know what we're doing anymore. Like Din Djarin makes this big thing where he explains how it's like, well, I lost the Darksaber because this creature attacked me, and then she killed the creature. So by rights, she should have the Darksaber. Cool. You could have told her that at any moment over the last 4 episodes, but you didn't until it was dramatic. Like, really? Okay. She could have just had it. And you can't even use it. You were just being a queen about it.
Yes, Queen. Stanley didn't pay anything for a super chat, but he's getting his money because Mark is hating on Star Wars kids.
For you, everybody.
Jazz PDX, who also did not fucking pay anything to ask this question, said, are Favs and Filoni getting creative interference, or is it all them? I saw an article where John Favreau was like, nobody's telling me what to do. This is just what I want to do. I didn't read like creative interference to me. It doesn't read like fucking Disney being like, you should do this or you should do this. I think a guy's got his own fucking TV show. He can do anything he wants with it and shit. And I'm sure he meets famous people all the time who are like, oh, I love that fucking show. And, you know, he's started popping them in to the show. Like, I don't know. It didn't read like this is all fucking Disney doing it. Disney's ruining Star Wars.
No. I mean, I think they could use some creative interference. Like, I think that the show is suffering a little bit because there's nobody but these two guys making Star Wars. And when it works, it's great. But like, there's a reason why we do have writer rooms. There's a reason why that collective experience is a net good thing in television. I mean, if Tony Gilroy can have a writer's room for Andor, then there's no reason why, and invite other people in and collaborate and together make a great thing. I think Mando is suffering a little bit from some tunnel vision. But hey, that's just me on the outside looking in. And yes, we are probably coming to the end of the Mando cycle, as you intimated. But I remember when it was a show about a bounty hunter who found a kid, and there were no Jedis and there was no lore, and it was just a thing that everybody could kind of jump onto. And then by now, the midway through the third season, it has become this somewhat Byzantine exploration of the nooks and crannies of the Star Wars universe that, if you haven't done the reading, is a little bit, I don't know, opaque.
Look, oh my God, fuck! I was just gonna give you props for Byzantine, which I always said Byzantine. Like fucking, you then fucking close, you stick the landing with opaque.
Words.
Oh my God, Mark gets the fucking vocabulary of the day award for both. Nobody gonna say anything as smart in this show as Mark just expressed it. Whether you agree with the sentiment or not, Byzantine and fucking opaque are just like billion-dollar words to just casually drop in conversation, man. Take that. If you're gonna take anything from this show, number one, take that we jumped the shark with Super Chat. And number two, take Byzantine and fucking opaque into your daily conversations, kids. That's what you get when you watch a Fat Man Beyond show. You get the smarts.
You get the smarts. Picard season 3 is phenomenal. Picard season 3 is, I think, everything that everybody who was ever a fan of The Next Generation always wanted Picard to be. And I say that as a person who worked on season 2. I think that you know, this is the version of the show that the showrunner Terry always wanted to do, that every writer has always wanted, that every actor who's ever been on Next Generation wanted to come back and play it. This is the way to close out a storyline. It's great. It is kind of unreservedly great, except for one reservation, which is the Jack Crusher stuff. I could kind of give or take. But
is this the last season?
This is the final season.
So do you think? So then, is that why it's great and everything that everyone ever wanted it to be? Because they're like, well, this is it, the last hurrah.
It does have the feeling of like, just, you know, there's no reason to leave anything behind. There's no reason to leave any ammunition in the guns. Just blow all the barrels, like do all the things, leave it all on the field. And it is nostalgia for sure. But it's nostalgia that gets to be surprising in ways. It's nostalgia that gets to be warming in ways and emotional in ways. But it's also proper Star Trek. There's also like fucking phaser battles and spaceship combat and Amanda Plummer as this wonderful villain. It's just Honey Bunny is continuing her villainous ways and taking them to outer space in the future. But yeah, man, I completely dig it. I completely dig it. Let's see. John Wick 4. which both of us have seen, independent of one another.
John Wick 4 is essentially 4 or 5 of the most incredible 25-minute action sequences anyone has ever tried to commit to film. We did. I watched it at Smodcastle Cinemas, and we did a watch Wick with Kev. So I was just in town, and it was a Saturday night, and I was going to watch John Wick. So I was like, "Come watch it with me. We'll do Q&A afterwards and stuff." I'll do Q&A for a movie I had nothing to do with. And my God, like at first when I sat down in my seat, like Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell is like, "I hope you got 2 hours and 40 minutes." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "That's how long this movie is." I was like, "What?" Like, you're talking about a motherfucker who made Clerks 3 and it was like 94 minutes and shit. I cut my shit to the bone and whatnot. And I was like, I ain't got time for fucking 2 hours and 30, 40 minutes, whatever the fuck it was. Shit went by like that. Shit fucking flew by, even at that length, man. It was incredible. We had a discussion afterwards about like, what's the influence here? Is it fucking one long cartoon? Or is it video games or what the fuck? And I was like, what it is you could do some shit with special effects now that you never could before. Somebody said like, it's a mixture of the fucking, the Shaw Brothers and Looney Tunes to some degree. All it was fucking magic. I read a story where Keanu went through and fucking crossed out a lot of the dialogue. So he only has about 300 words that he says in the whole movie. But there's a guy who knows his character, knows what the audience wants and shit. It was not wanting for fucking dialogue. Breathless in terms of like the action sequences. There's one like Touch of Evil shot in that motherfucker. Just went on and on and on. Like the overhead shot was fucking
Dragon's Breath shotgun just sparking motherfuckers into fire.
And fucking like this, I'm sorry, but the fucking Sacred Heart sequence, the stairs sequence was just fucking brilliant, man. Because when he gets to the spoilers, kids, it's been out for a red hot minute, but this don't spoil the movie. If you ain't seen it, it should make you want to see it. Fucking, there's this Sacré-Cœur church in France. That ain't the one that went on fire. It's not Notre Dame, but it's the other one. And it's all their big fucking selling point is like, these stairs will give you a fucking heart attack because there's so many stairs to get up to the church and shit. They do an entire action sequence on these fucking stairs. And just when fucking Wick makes it to the top of the fucking stairs, somebody kicks him all the way down the stairs. He has to do it again. It was fucking brilliant. That moment alone, I was like, because I was like, yeah, he's at the top of the stairs. Let's go. And they're like, oh no. They really know what they're doing with this fucking series, man. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal. And the audience that I was with ate it up like candy. Wasn't a single person that at the end of it, I go like, how many people liked it? All the hands went up. I was like, how many people didn't like it? No fucking hands went up. It's just astounding to watch. And it's weird that like I can't even consider myself as a filmmaker when I watch a film like this, because I'm like, holy shit. Now, I understand they had a lot of digital help and fucking like is fucking directed by a stuntman, right? The guy used to
Chad Stahelski.
Yeah. Oh my God. This guy's fucking so talented. This kid, give him all the money and make every fucking movie. Give him every one of the franchises. Give him a Star Wars. Give him a Marvel. Let this guy do whatever he fucking wants. Because my God, this movie was vastly entertaining. Here's the highest compliment I could pay it. As I sat there watching it, I wished my fucking father, who's been dead for 20 years in June, could be exhumed from the fucking ground with a Necronomicon just so I could show him this movie. My father was an action movie fucking freak. If he'd seen this fucking movie, he might be alive today. This movie would have kept him alive if he knew this movie was coming one day. It's just so fucking good. Did you like it?
I think every one of those action scenes is maybe the best action scene I've ever seen.
Right? Like fucking hands down, bro. I was thinking like how many other movies have done action over the years and shit, but I'm like, oh my God, this is breathtaking.
Yeah. But I will also say you could probably cut half of those action scenes and I would have enjoyed the movie just as much.
Fair enough. It did not have to be as long as it was.
And like there's very little suspense or plot or character being conveyed in any of those scenes, right? Like it's, here I am in this hotel in Japan, which is super cool, and it's filled with fucking assassins, and I'm going to kill them all and make my way out, right? Right. Do we learn anything new about John Wick? No. Do we learn anything new about the plot? No. It's just, can he make it out alive? And of course he can, because he's John Wick. And so it becomes a little numbing after a while when you're just like, all right, so we did the cool overhead action scene, and then we're in the Arc de Triomphe car chase scene where people are jumping out and getting killed, and it's amazing. And then we're doing the staircase scene, and that's 40 minutes of just things exploding and cars screeching and guns firing, which is a lot if there's no emotional tether to any of it.
Did you not have an emotional tenor? This all began, mind you, with a guy really upset that they killed a fucking puppy.
Which I love the first movie. The first movie is perfect.
And it doesn't have what this movie had. Like, it feels like they started in a very realistic kind of world with the first one. And I've not watched the Fast and Furious movies, but like you have.
Oh, yes.
Your description of them was like, because I remember the first one and I was like, it's just about car racing. And you're like, oh, it's gone beyond that.
Bro, they go to space.
Yes, yes. And it feels like they've upped the ante every fucking go around. But I'm here for it, man. Like, I loved what they did in fucking Chapter 4, John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah, but I do remember the very simple premise of John Wick. Like, this is a man who's pissed off that they killed his fucking dog and his wife, but dog first and shit.
Yeah, but it was the like, my wife died and the last gift she gave to me was this dog to help me grieve so I wouldn't have to grieve her death alone. And you killed that symbol of salvation that I had. So I'm going to lay waste to everybody to get my fucking revenge. And he does. And okay, I get it. It's pure. It's simple. By this movie, it seems as if it's going to be about John Wick. The only way he can get out and live a life is to get rid of the high table completely, right? I got to kill the last fucking dude to kill. And you're like, oh, all right, cool. It's going to be this Marquis guy, right? Who's super fun. Like, yeah, all of his suits are amazing. The amount of like just venom that oozes from that dude, one of the Skarsgård boys.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. He's great. But then somebody says, oh, well, if you just kill him, they'll replace him with somebody else. But let's all do this, says Winston, the amazing Ian McShane, so I can get my hotel back. And so John Wick dies, asterisk, so that another dude can get his hotel back. He doesn't get rid of the high table. He doesn't get revenge for his wife. Like, all of it is kind of just like a real estate transaction. And at the end of all of it, I kind of wanted it to mean more. And it really doesn't. It's a little bit futile. And if that's the point they wanted to make, okay, that's a choice. That like all of that death ultimately doesn't amount to anything, that there is no getting rid of this system. The best you can do is try to live your life in a way that you can find some honor in. I get it. But it's also a little like, for this movie, in which this dude is a superhero, like it's going to be an oddly hollow ending. And the asterisk is because I don't think John Wick is dead if they decide they want to make another movie.
I think the director, it's Chad
Stahelski, yeah.
Chad Stahelski has said there's going to be a Chapter 5.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, maybe a spin-off about the Donnie Yen character, who's super cool. Kane, he's great. They're definitely doing a ballerina movie out of the whole like Russian ballerina assassin training school. And, they're like, well, we'll see if we have another idea. But if you don't see a body going into a coffin and a coffin going into a grave, that is not a character who has to be dead. And we saw the same fucking gravesite for Nick Fury like 8 times. And that motherfucker never seems to die. So
I saw him in a trailer for fucking Secret Invasion. He's back like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I appreciate these movies for what they do to the craft. And Chad is he's a wizard at this. And he's figured out a way to advance the technology of stunts and of action. And a lot of that stuff is practical. I mean, there's some CG stuff for sure, but like Keanu's doing like 90% of that stuff.
Yes. It's fucking, at one point, dude, he's working nunchucks where you're like, how does this guy have time to be a nunchucks expert? Like, he's in fucking so many movies and shit. and he's older than me and you, right? He's
Yeah.
got like 55, 56 years old.
Yeah, he's
And
almost
fucking
60.
working the chucks like fucking nobody's business. It was so awesome that when he stopped working the chucks, he just let him hang around his neck, do some shit, and then fucking picked him back up and fucking went. We had a good time after the movie during the Q&A talking about, I had Shane, who's my AD on Clerks 3, Shane Kalman, was there watching it with me. So I was like, you get up and do Q&A with me and shit. Cause I was like, Shane, how long does it take to do something like the Triumph scene and shit? And we were trying to break down for the audience how much of it was real and how much of it was fucking done elsewhere and stuff. You know, because we had definitely had some people in the audience who thought like all that traffic was really there. And I'm like, oh no. So much of that comes together in post and whatnot. But do you think he was actually working nunchucks, or do you think he's doing this shit and they put nunchucks in his hand later on?
I think he's working them. I mean,
that's what I thought. I was
the
like,
training that he does. I mean, Chad did a lot of press. I mean, there's been a ton of press on each one of these movies, but he said, like, I bring the stunt team in, 4 to 6 months before we start shooting. And Keanu is training for 6 to 8 months before we start shooting so that he can do as much of it as possible. And like all of the martial arts stuff is stuff he's doing. Like he's not, there's always the line between like, are we going to kill Keanu or are we just going to ding Keanu? And it's like, he's taking a lot of those hits. We're not slamming him into vans at 100 miles an hour. Like that's either a stunt guy or CG, but like Keanu wants to do it all. Keanu, like every time the gun jams that they use, it's because the gun really jammed. And Keanu just knows what to do, and he knows how to play it as part of a scene. He knows what John Wick would do with a jammed gun. And I also like, to your point, we talked about this years ago, months ago, I don't know, time. There are no live rounds on the sets of those movies. He's like, every gun is a non-fireable gun. There's no muzzle flash on the set. Like everything is digital, all of it. It's like, there's no reason to do it. And we have not done it on any of these movies. Like, we can fake the slide going back and forth. We can eject empty shells onto the ground if we have to, but you could not put a bullet in any gun that's on any one of these sets and fire it.
Which you have to give credit to the performers because they make it look like just enough recoil and shit like that. Like he's not just going like this and his hand's not really moving. It looks like they're firing fucking guns. And I don't mean visually it looks like it with the muzzle flash that they add later on and stuff. But to be an actor in the middle of a fucking scene where you're beating up 100 fucking people and you still have, and in an uncut fucking shot that goes on for minutes, and you still have the presence of mind to still fucking jerk just enough to have you fucking be like, yeah, he's firing a fucking gun right there.
They don't even have to fake it because they built it with like motors inside of it that shimmy it just enough. So when you press the trigger, the motor starts spinning and it gives you that feel so that you can see like flesh jiggle when the gun is moving.
Right?
Yeah. Like, and I think they had it, God, when did they have it? I remember Weta had worked on something like that like 10 or 15 years ago, because they also realized back then, maybe we don't need bullets anymore. We don't need blanks anymore. But no, I think that discreetly, like every 10 minutes of that movie is a masterpiece. I just think that when you put it all together to 2 hours and 40 minutes worth of it, the parts I think are a little bit more than the whole, but that is just me. As with everything.
Joshua Mundhall, who was one of our fucking super chatters, asked a free question. Kevin, Marc, Berserker, Keanu's comic. Have you read any of it yet? What do you think of an upcoming animated series / movie? Have you ever read his comic?
I have not read his comic. I know others.
They are doing a cartoon, right?
I think Netflix got the rights, and I think they have a whole like suite of things they want to do with it. I think they want to do a live action thing. I don't think they want to do an animated thing. I think that, the Keanu of it gets you quite a bit of avenues of exploitation for that. And it seems fun. It's a Boom comic, and the guys at Boom are super smart.
Can I tell you an inside fucking baseball story that I think has something to do with that?
Shoot.
So years ago, I was working on a live action Buckaroo Banzai TV series. At first, we sold it to Apple. MGM owns it. At first, I got involved with the good folks at MGM because they're like, we hear you love Buckaroo Banzai. I was like, fuck yeah, I love Buckaroo Banzai. So we pitched it to Apple. It got bought like in a heartbeat and shit. Was it Apple or Amazon? Amazon first, I think. I don't know, one of them, either Apple bought it first, then Amazon bought it after, or Amazon bought it first and Apple bought it after. Ironically enough, it was the same guy at both companies who bought it. His name was Morgan. He was the dude that bought it. So we were doing a live action version of the show. And whoever we wound up with ultimately, I think it was Apple. Remember who went first. They both begin with A. So whoever it was, whether it was Apple or whether it was Amazon, maybe somebody in chat fucking remembers. Those cats were like, I don't know, maybe it's not a live action series. Maybe it's an animated series. And so I got some cool ass designs from the folks at Powerhouse Animation, guys who I do, and girls, with Masters of the Universe with for Netflix. In any event, they designed this. Someone said, gravitated said, would someone please get Kevin high? Why? Like, I was more obnoxious when I was high. I was way more energetic.
Last time.
Yeah, truly. So I had cool ass designs, very manga, very anime influence for Buckaroo Banzai animated series. And I cannot tell you how this happened, but somebody was like, you know who's interested in playing Buckaroo Banzai in your animated series? Keanu Reeves. And I was like, what the fuck? So they hooked up a Zoom with me and Keanu, and I had met him once before, also on Zoom, for the Bill and Ted Face the Music, like premiere or whatever. They put together this like online fucking panel and stuff during the days of COVID. And, you know, I was like, oh my God, I had to tell him like, look, fucking, we don't get to Silent Bob. We don't get to Jay and Silent Bob without Bill and Ted. And we don't get to Silent Bob without Ted Theodore Logan and shit. And he was like, whoa. And so here we are fucking a year or two after that. And we're doing another Zoom, but this time it's not in front of the world and shit. It's just literally me and fucking Keanu. And he goes, so Buckaroo Banzai. And I was like, yeah, man. and we talked for like half an hour. And this is like, it's never happening and shit, but it ties into that Berserker thing. By the end of the conversation, he was like, let's do this, man. And I was like, oh my God, this show's actually going to fucking happen. And then 1 week later, he sent me a lovely email where he was like, I have to back out of the show. He's going, I hope we get to work together one day. Polite as fuck. This is a Canadian kid, so he's just absolutely fucking wonderful and shit. I think it probably had to do with Berserker. So I think he's like, oh, if I'm going to do a cartoon, I'm going to do a cartoon based on my comic book. Lovely, lovely fucking dude. But for one brief shining moment, for about a week or 2 week period, we could have had Buckaroo Banzai played by Keanu Reeves in an animated series.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Peter Weller, for the record, if anyone was like, what about fucking Peter Weller? He would have played Hanoi Shan, who is, if you know the Buckaroo Banzai world and the book written by the great Earl McGraw, that's his Lex Luthor. That doesn't really get much play in the Buckaroo Banzai movie. But him in the book, him and Lizardo are like this and shit. Now I'm falling down the rabbit hole and whatnot, but there you go. Anyway.
Yes. So John Wick 4 made all the money. It's, you know, if they want to make a fifth, they can. They're spinning it out a dozen different ways, including
doing
the
a continental TV series, right?
Which I worked on.
That's
yes,
right. You did.
I did. I'm pretty sure that if I remember correctly, the Continental is now 3 TV movies and not a TV series. But it was all about the how Winston gets the hotel. It would
be young Winston, like
young Winston, you know, young Sharon. There were a couple of other characters from the Wick universe that we were sort of beginning to bring in. But and we'd always had this idea of like young fucking John Wick, or Jordani, whatever his Russian name is, Jovanovich. But I don't think we ever landed on a really interesting way to bring him in to have made it worth it. But like season 2 or 3, we'll totally bring in young John Wick. But yeah, no, and you know, I got to work a little bit with Chad in like picking his brain about how that world works, and he's a very intense but very nice guy. But he's always on. He's always kind of moving. Never got to meet with Keanu, who I think is both nice but a little bit of the opposite. in that
Up
he's just
to
a little more chill. You know, like Chad was intense, but yeah, he was very cool but intense.
While we're talking about Wick, we should give a shout out, pour one out for Lance Reddick.
Indeed.
Just as the movie opened, the concierge himself passed away like rather suddenly and also very young. I think did we talk about it on the
in the last pod. Yeah, like that was the breaking news that day, was like,
That's right.
RIP Lance Reddick.
Yes. So once again, pour one out for Lance Reddick.
Yeah. Two quick trailers to hit before we dig into the Star Wars Celebration stuff. There was a new Across the Spider-Verse trailer that dropped, which, man alive, just give it all to me.
Yeah.
Put it in my
Number
face.
one, like they bringing in the spot was very fun. It looks like they get a lot of jokes out of that character and shit.
Yeah.
But fucking who knew that fucking Spider-Man 2099 was gonna play such a massive fucking part.
Yeah.
And played by what's his fuck?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, the great Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight himself, who's like gets to be two fucking Marvel characters in this world. Three if you count fucking Apocalypse from the X-Men movie.
Indeed. So yeah, cannot wait for that. That's, I think, June. Is that June? Yeah, I think it's June.
That looks amazing.
Looks great.
And also they're bringing in fucking Peter Parker comes back with fucking Spider Baby.
I know. He's
How adorable is that? So I guess shit worked out with him and Mary Jane. I was like, I love that movie so much across the original Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And that trailer just has the line where, his mother is talking to him on the roof. And it's just like, you were a little boy, and I just don't want you to forget the boy that we helped raise and the boy that we love. And I want you to protect him and make sure that he's okay. And it's just like all of the feelings are all bubbling in my body, and I don't know what to do about it.
It's beautiful, beautiful shit.
Yeah. And then the Blue Beetle trailer dropped. Our first.
Wonderful. I thought it was really strong, man. I honestly, like, Ted Kord is my Blue Beetle, and I was never like, I was out of comics by the time Jaime came around. I'm well aware of the character and whatnot, but, I grew up reading Justice League, International, fucking all the Blue Beetle, fucking Booster Gold shit by DeMatteis and Giffen and stuff. So Ted Kord was, and will always be my Blue Beetle. That being said, holy fuck, man. Like, they've made a fucking really good looking movie. I hope that this isn't one of these Shazam Fury of the Gods things where they're like, well, this ain't part of the James Gunn plan. I hope going forward they keep this up. Well, I hope the movie's as good as the trailer. Did you like the trailer?
I dug the trailer. I mean, I think
charming as fuck, man.
Yeah, I think the kid who's playing Jaime Reyes is super charming.
That's the kid from fucking Cobra Kai, right?
Yeah. Zolo, I don't know what his last name.
God, he was so he was the heart of Cobra Kai, man. At least season 1 and season 2. Yeah. I remember when he fucking, like, spoilers, when he gets fucking knocked off the railing and shit. I was like, no, like I love that fucking kid. I was very happy with season 2.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. The one quibble that I have is that superhero origin stories are at this point not entirely interesting to me, because most of them are the same. It's I found a piece of tech that will transform my life and help change everything from this piece of shit to where I want it to be. Or I got bitten or exposed or irradiated or
my parents got killed.
Or something bad happened to my parents that motivates me to do whatever. Or I'm an alien and look, I just found out. All of that stuff, like, we've seen the 5 or 6 variations on the theme. And so I keep longing for either some new version of that or to just skip right over it. Like, if I ever see pearls again in a Batman movie, fuck you. Like, I know this origin already. Everybody does. I don't ever need to see Peter Parker get bitten by a spider again. We know how that works. And yes, Kal-El came from Krypton. We get it. Don't ever show me that shit again.
Sounds like Gunn's not going to show you that in the movie that he's now directing as well as writing.
Yeah, like, it seems Superman Legacy is very much about, like, a Superman who's already Superman, who has questions about what that is. And I'm all for that. I mean, we've been telling that origin now for almost 90 years. I think we get it. So yeah, like, I'm here for Blue Beetle. I'm very curious about what it is and what it looks like and how it operates. And the trailer looks good. It's just that little bit of like, okay, no, if this follows the beats that I know, then it'll be the things in the periphery that get me excited and less the central core of what it is. But I reserve judgment until I see the movie, and I live in hope.
DILF.
Yes, Nerd Large. I'm complaining about
DILF?
movies that I haven't even watched yet, and just said, I live in hope. I haven't seen it yet. This is the trailer. Simmer down.
Did that person pay money to ask you that question?
He did not.
Native
So
also wants to know if they can negotiate their rate down to Super Chat. No, Kevin, I just wanted to contribute that actually the Blue Beetle movie was supposed to be an HBO Max film until James Gunn saw it, and he said, no, we're going theatrical.
Is that right?
That's the rumor I heard. I don't know.
I'd always heard that it was supposed to be theatrical, and then there was a danger that it might go to, he fucking says shit and then it fucks off. I was in the middle of a conversation. Get back here, DILF
I'm
Man.
right here, man.
Stand by
I'm
your
always here.
I hadn't heard that. I thought it was always meant to be theatrical, and maybe during the Zaslav era, there was a danger that it might go the way of, well, not Batgirl and be fucking canceled, but it might just go to HBO Max. But that would be a new one. I hadn't heard that. Speaking of Super Chat, though, Rain Servant paid $10 to say this. Hey, Kev, I want to thank you for sharing your heart attack story on the podcast years ago. Without it, my dad wouldn't be here today. So I'll always be in your debt. Number one, thank you. Number two, you're in the debt of the doctors who saved your dad's life. I'm glad I said a thing and you maybe heard a thing, and when the time was right, said a thing to your fucking dad. And I'm glad your dad's alive and stuff. But for years, people, ever since the heart attack, and fucking I've been talking about it, I've heard from people online, met them in the real world, people giving me credit for saving their lives, saving the life of a loved one, because I talked about this heart attack shit. I did not. I just passed on some good information, shit I didn't know. And so that's, been my MO for the last few years, is like, oh shit, I didn't know this shit. So when I started telling the story about my heart attack, it was really pass on information. Like, I always thought fucking your arms got to go numb, or Elizabeth, you got to do a Red Fox in order to know you're having a heart attack. But like being nauseous, having the sweats, these are all fucking warning signs as well. So I thank you for that, Rain. But you saved your dad's life. And more importantly, the doctors saved your dad's life. But I'm so glad your dad's around. Take him for, when we were just talking about Marc not wanting to see another superhero origin and stuff, and we talked about my parents are dead. Like, that was me making jokes about comics, but instantly what flashed in my head is my dad is dead. And that should have been my superhero origin story moment, but it's not. It's coming up in June. He'll be dead 20 fucking years. Like I said before, when I was talking about fucking John Wick, I think about him when I see these fucking movies now, because I'm like, oh my God, like that's what he loved. When I showed him Chasing Amy for the first time, he fell asleep because that wasn't his fucking speed and shit. Didn't have Clint Eastwood in it, didn't have a fucking single gun or anything like that. But man, oh man, if he had lived to see Wick, fuck, my old man would be, let me see, he died at 67, so he'd be 87 now. So I don't know if he would have made it regardless of his poor health and whatnot. But I wish he had. And I guarantee you, if I could fucking sink John Wick 4 into the bowels of the earth, it would raise my father's corpse if he weren't, cremated. Because I got a piece of him in an urn right over there. My mom put him into this urn, God bless her. And I remember when my father died, she's like, I bought your father the most beautiful urn. And she showed it to me, and it was like this bronze affair of like waves, and it had 3 dolphins cresting over it. And she's like, that's meant to be you and your brother and your sister, and me and dad are the waves and whatnot. And, I was like, my poor father's going to spend the rest of his life in this Ethan Allen fucking sculpture. Like, oh my God. My mom said, do you want some of your dad's ashes? I said, fuck yeah. I got him a nice, respectable, very simple wooden urn that I took with me to when I got my hand and footprints put in the cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater, so that my dad could be there too. And then right before I left, like it wasn't something I was planning to do, but I looked down and there was this perfect space in the cement that's still wet, where I put my handprints, my footprints, wrote my name and wrote some shit and the date and blah, blah, blah. And then there was this just empty spot. And I looked at the urn and it was almost the same fucking size. So I took the urn and I put it down into the cement, made a perfect like circle from the bottom of the urn and stuff. So if you ever go see like the Groman's Chinese Theater, the courtyard where all the footprints of the famous people are, the less famous Jay and Silent Bob are there. Me and Jason Mewes right next to each other. But my father, who took me to Groman's Chinese Theater when I was fucking 9 years old on a family vacation, to the courtyard, and was explaining like fucking everybody who I didn't know in the cement. Some people I did know. I was there to see the Star Wars footprints, like R2-D2, C-3PO, and Darth Vader and shit. And right before we left, my old man was like, maybe you'll be here one day. And fucking like 40 years later, I was there. So it was a beautiful moment for me to put his ashes in the fucking cement with me. Something that I could not have done if it was just my mom's gigantic fucking dolphin urn and stuff like that. I shouldn't be fucking shit talking my mom. She's in the hospital right now, but she knows how I feel about that urn.
You know what you did.
Sorry, I'm dealing with some shit, kids. Thank you, Rain Servant, for letting me fucking tell a story about my dad. Anyway, back to our shit.
Should we roll the beautiful bean footage of JC at the celebration?
We should, because it'll give us 6 minutes to not deal with Super Chat, which a lot of people are so irritated by. Kids, JC, Banff Man himself, the owner and proprietor of the Scum and Villainy Cantina, are home for this show, which even when during a pandemic, we would go to an empty Scum and Villainy Cantina and do the fucking show. If you've never been to Hollywood, make a trip. Just like my old man fucking took me when I was 9 years old, my family and stuff. Make a trip to Hollywood one day and make sure you go to the Scum and Villainy Cantina. There ain't no bar like it anywhere on the planet and stuff. Don't call it a Star Wars bar, because now it's a Star Trek bar. They had a fucking shindig there not too long ago for fucking was the show?
For Picard, yeah. And they like redid the whole like entryway so that now it's all like a fucking holodeck thing or whatever. It's all Star Trek screens everywhere. Dope.
One day JC is going to be the richest person we know, because he's going to franchise this fucker. And there's going to be fucking Scum and Villainy Cantinas all over the fucking world. Yep. But regardless, JC, Banff Man himself, as you all know, is a massive, massive fucking Star Wars fan. So massive that he went over to England, where they were doing a fucking Star Wars celebration this year. Something that at first I was like, can you believe they moved this shit out of America? Until somebody was like, you know, they made Star Wars in London a long time ago. I was like, oh, good point, good point. They deserve it as well. So the celebration went to the UK this year. And Brian Lynch, our friend Brian Lynch, he went over and stuff. And JC went over as well. And so we were going to try to do JC coming in live from, like, at one point, Marc was pitching, it was 3 time zones, 2 countries, 1 podcast, because I was supposed to be on the East Coast, Marc was going to be on the West Coast, and JC was going to be over in fucking England. But as the case is, me and Marc are right now both in fucking California, so we're in 1 time zone. And JC, when we were like, you ready to do this shit, 6 o'clock PST, fucking America time on fucking Monday? And JC was like, that's 3 a.m. for me.
No.
In the UK. Although we got a bunch of people super chatting us fucking pound sterling who are obviously watching the show at fucking 3 a.m. So I don't know what JC's problem is, but JC said, I'm not going to be there live, but I will send you a fucking video and shit. So JC said it was going to be a 2-minute video. He turned it into a 6-minute video, if I remember correctly. Here with a special report from Star Wars Celebration. Get in here, DILF Man.
DILF.
How adorable is that?
No, it's done.
How long is that video?
6 minutes, 50 seconds, I believe.
6 minutes and 50 seconds. So we're going to go to Celebration with our beloved Banff Man, who's not here because he's over fucking in the UK and whatnot, and watch 6 minutes of video. Don't fucking touch that dial, because as soon as it's done, me and Marc are going to be back talking all about Celebration, because we made JC promise he wouldn't spoil everything. He's there. His piece is about his personal experience and whatnot. We'll be back to talk about all the fucking news that came out of Star Wars Celebration, including that fucking amazing Ahsoka trailer,
Yep.
which looks like fucking Rebels season fucking 5 or whatever, 3. As soon as JC's done talking. So without further ado, DILF Man, take us to the UK, man. That'll give me a chance to go take a whiz. And let's see what JC has to say.
What's up, fam and beyond? I am here in London at Star Wars Celebration. It just ended. It's done, it's over. 4 days, like lightning fast, came and went. Lots of really, really cool stuff. Lots of fun costumes. Some of my favorite, I saw Cloud with the full-on like Kenner action figure costume. I saw Sindel and Mace Tawani from the Ewok Adventure movie. Bumped into some Fat Man Beyond fans who recognized me and talked to them, which I'll play those videos a little bit later in my little breakdown here. Huge Star Wars news announcements for Ahsoka and the Acolyte and even Indiana Jones, because I guess that's Star Wars adjacent. A lot of really cool vendors. Other really cool stuff I saw here in London, which was also wild because every time you talk to a little kid here with the accent, they're so proper. You feel like you're talking to an adult. That's been wild. What else? Some really cool scenery. We've got an Endor bunker, we've got the Hoth turret, and there's an animatronic probe droid that was driving around here, which was cool. Lots of R2-D2s, lots of Wookiees, lots of Mandalorians, a lot of Mandalorians. I also saw, the first time I've ever seen this, the wet-haired Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper outfit with a Dianoga around his neck. Volkswagen was here. They like wrapped some of their new electric VW buses. There was Star Wars gaming, long line if you wanted to demo the new Star Wars miniature game that's coming out. There was an Ewok on a hang glider the whole weekend. That was really cool. What else did we see? Oh, the Emperor had his chair and was doing photo ops with people. I think my personal favorite part was coming to the convention today with Jocelyn. It's just the two of us, and she walked right over to the Hasbro booth and found the retro remakes of the vintage Kenner action figures. And she sat down for 10 whole minutes just looking at them and talking about them and explaining who all the characters were to me. It honestly, like, it was kind of like what Ben Affleck says in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, is that sooner or later you realize that you are Thomas Wayne and not Bruce Wayne. And that moment is something that I will carry with me forever, because I was doing the same thing when I was her age. Only I was at Toys R Us. If anybody remembers what that is. All in all, a wonderful weekend with my family, a wonderful weekend with my Star Wars family, and they just announced about 5 minutes ago that the next one is going to be in Japan in 2 years. So start saving your shekels, because we are going to Japan in 2025. I will be back on Fat Man Beyond in 2 or 3 weeks when I get back from my European vacation. Until then, Will Wilkins will hold it down with Kevin and Marc, and maybe I'll get a better haircut by the time I come home. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. I almost forgot. Here are interviews I did randomly on the show floor from London with a couple Fat Man Beyond fans who recognized me from the United States. All right, Fat Man Beyond, here we are. I was recognized, not hard with my stupid haircut. I'm with Doug from Seattle. How has the show been, Doug?
It's been fantastic. Loved every day.
When did you get here?
We got here Thursday, so we've been here the whole weekend.
And are you leaving tomorrow?
Oh no, we're gonna stay for a few more days.
Oh, nice. R2D2 is about to run over my daughter. What's been your favorite part of the show?
can't pick just one.
What have you gotten into? Have you gotten into any panels?
Yeah, we got into the Ahsoka panel and the overflow for Bad Batch.
How was the Ahsoka panel? Was it crazy? Did people go nuts?
People went nuts, yeah.
It
Great.
looks cool. Did you read the Heir to the Empire books
Oh, of course I did.
back in the day? We're probably around the same age. Did you go nuts when Ahsoka said Heir to the Empire?
I didn't go nuts, but I knew exactly what she did.
Did you get chills a little bit? Did you feel like
Oh, it brought me back. It brought me
they were talking to you? That they put something in there just for you? That's how I felt.
back. Yeah, they knew who they were targeting.
All right, that's it. That's what we got with Doug. I'm gonna keep searching.
Woo! What up, everybody?
Back with another Fat Man Beyond fan. This is Chris from Philadelphia. Chris, what was your favorite part of the convention so far?
Oh my god, dude! Meeting up with you, just walking around. Like this one is actually one of my favorite ones. Like I've been 4 now. Like what have you been 7?
11.
11.
Since you were a child, I've been coming to this.
Well,
What's the best costume you've seen?
I gotta send you pictures.
All right,
We'll put them up. We'll put them up.
what has been? Did you get any panels? Did you do any panels?
I did do panels. I got day 1. I got the Lucasfilm panel, and seeing like the 6 minutes of the new Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones footage.
Indiana Jones footage.
What about the Ahsoka trailer? How did that play?
Let's try not to curse, but yeah, let's effing go, dude. Like,
There it is. More Fat Man Beyond fans, and you can drink beer here.
dude,
Good
I love
time.
it.
Good time.
Is that we back? Now I can point that way. Fuck, I never get this right. God damn it. There. I could go like that. Fucking him. Hold on. Number one, just to listen to fucking some of the chat people who absolutely love that sequence. Somebody said that fucking, where is it? It wasn't a super chat, but it was, I can't find it. Where is it? No, here it is. Oh, Ruben Kiro said JC should cosplay as Kraglin for Guardians 3 next month. Kind of did fucking look like him, man. But Maya says, Futurama, sorry, says he looks like the character from the first episode of the Droids cartoon. He fucking did, man. I wonder if that's what he was going for. How nice. What a great report that was from JC, from Bernardin himself. And he edited it together and shit while he's over there enjoying his ass.
Is Will on the fly just swapping us to make people feel better?
He's moving shit around. He wants to put us back in our places. It feel like the beginning of the Brady Bunch. Dun, 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 dun. The squares moving.
Yeah, it's like I fucked it up because I turned off my camera when I went to the. Yeah, when I went to the. No, it's just me. I muted my camera when I went to the Wiz Palace and then came back.
Will, are you muted? Some people are saying you're muted.
Yeah, I was, to make sure that I couldn't be heard while JC was talking. My favorite part, pardon me, the whole thing is I'm apologizing to the audience because you guys shifted around. Didn't know why. I went to go soup and ta-da, there you are.
They say you're still muted.
Well, I can't help them then. Don't worry about it. It's a delay, Mark. You can't believe the audience. Trust me.
Fair enough. So celebration.
Let's talk about celebration. Before we do that, I just want to point out tickets for Fat Man Beyond August 25th at Smodcastle are now up, as are tickets for the 826 thing that I'm not supposed to necessarily mention, but you could still buy tickets for it. I should also point out we're doing Hollywood Babylon, me and Ralph Garman at Flappers Comedy Club this Saturday. here in Los Angeles. But June 2nd, Hollywood Babylon traveling back to Smodcastle
Ooh.
to do a show. Yes, Ralph Garman coming back to New Jersey. We're doing Hollywood Babylon on June 2nd. It's not up yet, but Red State's going to be on June 3rd, and Ralph was in that, so he's going to be there. And then we're also doing Hollywood Babylon Comic-Con Theater on June 4th. That's where me and Ralph read comic books, and Ralph does funny voices. Those tickets are now on sale at smodcastleCinemas.com. And then Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell asked me to mention one more time that this Friday, kids, this Friday at Smodcastle Cinemas is a night in Mission Hill with Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein, man, the kids responsible for Mission Hill. You can go see that this fucking Friday, right? If you're on the East Coast and you love Mission Hill, here's your chance. Come to Smodcastle and see it, kids. Anyway, back to the celebration.
And one other thing, as when we started, our friendly neighborhood DILF Man was kind enough to remind us that this is Fat Man Beyond episode 398 / Fat Man on Batman. All in 398, which means we are 2 episodes away from 400.
Fat Man 400?
Fat Man 400, which we should probably make a bit of a big deal about.
We should, and we should do that where the show has been live mostly, of course, which would be at the Scum Villainy Cantina. So when JC gets back, which should be soon, as he said, we'll figure out what that date's going to be. We'll put those tickets on sale for at Scum Villainy Cantina, man. We should probably do both shows live, 399 and 400, but at the very least, 400 has to be fucking live from the cantina.
Hell yeah. I wonder if we can get a special guest.
Who would you get if you get anybody?
If we can get anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody. I think
I'd do my father, because that would mean he'd be alive again.
Victor Garber?
Jeez, Victor Garber.
Oh my God, what a great answer. You know what? My dad's dead and he's never coming back, but Victor Garber, there's a motherfucker we could talk to.
Yeah, I was gonna say Affleck.
Oh, I would love to have fucking Ben Affleck on. Number one, we would talk about fucking Justice League, Batman v Superman. We'd talk about his time in the suit. Number two, we could talk about Air, which I went to the premiere of, and my God, it's fucking wonderful. Like, it's a legit wonderful fucking movie. There's no way they don't remember this movie when it comes Oscar time fucking next year. He directed the fuck out of this movie, man. And he's also legit wonderful as, what's the dude's name? Phil Knight.
Yeah.
Phil Knight in the movie. Like, look, I'm a big Affleck fan, obviously. And I love Affleck. The director is absolutely wonderful, and he's way better than me at the job. But Affleck, the fucking actor, I've always been a fan of. And seeing him play fucking Phil Knight was delightful. Matty Damon is fucking wonderful in the movie. Everyone, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker, fucking Marlon Wayans, Chris Messina, like, the fucking cast is fantastic. And the movie's just such a great American success story and shit like that. If you were alive in the 70s and 80s, like me and Marc, particularly for 1984, it's a fucking fall down memory holes, like right down the rabbit hole of all my most cherished memories of the 80s. The soundtrack plays like the most expensive 80s soundtrack ever put together. Every scene has a classic song from 82 to 84 and shit. It also, like, the movie that I'm making next, 4:30 movie, is set in 1986. So I went to the premiere with Harley's boyfriend, Austin, and shit. And as we're sitting there, we were the first ones in the fucking theater because I stopped smoking weed. So now I'm on time for everything, almost except for this show. As we sat there alone in the fucking theater, waiting for the rest of the crowd to come, at premieres, generally, they play the soundtrack while you're waiting for the movie to begin. And after like the 4th song, I was like, oh shit, this is all going to be the soundtrack. Got to be one of the most expensive soundtracks of all time, man. But like, it played like my Spotify playlist, every song that I still listen to this day and shit. The movie is legit wonderful. I'm so happy for Ben. He's a talented motherfucker, as we all know. But my God, this movie is fantastic. And I don't just say that because, like, I know the guy and shit. This movie will do fine without me. I think it opened to like 12 million this weekend or something like that.
Yeah, it opened strong for the kind of movie that it is.
Especially considering that, like, Super Mario Brothers sucked up all the fucking money from the box office. This is definitely a kid's weekend at the box office this week. for those who follow along with this sort of thing, I talked about on the last Fat Man Beyond when we did from Smodcastle how fucking nobody goes to the movies anymore. At least Smodcastle cinemas and shit. Opening fucking night of Avatar, 7:00 show, we had 12 people. Opening night of fucking Creed 3. And these were movies that were huge. We had 6 people. Super Mario Brothers. Like, apparently all we are at Smodcastle Cinemas are like a rep house where you can watch old Kevin Smith movies and fucking cartoons. Kids come galore to that theater. So Ernie texts me on fucking Wednesday to be like, we had 200 guests on a Wednesday. I thought it was cute that he called them guests. I was like, what are we, fucking Disneyland? Stop that shit. They're customers.
Are you a cast member too?
Yes. Oh, that's good. Deep cut. But yeah, man, fucking Super Mario Brothers was huge this weekend, as we all probably have heard by now, and will continue to be fucking huge. But Air did very fucking well considering what it is. Like a grown-up movie for grown-ups set in an era that most of us are fucking middle-aged to appreciate. But it's such a well-made movie. And honestly, it's an Amazon movie, so they ain't got to worry about fucking box office and shit. Go see it, kids. If you haven't seen Air, it's worth the trip, man. Ben did a great fucking job. Maddie's fucking wonderful in the movie. They're all good. This all-star cast, and they're all fucking fantastic. That movie had a smile on my face from beginning to fucking end. It's fucking wonderful and so smart.
I haven't seen it yet, but I did encounter, because, of course, both Matt and Ben are out doing press for it. And I saw the greatest anecdote, and it did warm my heart a bit, where it was the screenwriter was talking about his process. Like, it's his first ever produced screenplay. He
excellent screenplay, by the way. Excellent screenplay.
He had the idea like a decade ago and was kind of like, noodling at it, and then really inspired by The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, and then kind of lit a fire under himself and wrote it, and it got in the hands of Matt, and Ben. And like, he said, like, when they're on set, like, both Matt and Ben are fucking Oscar-winning writers. And so, like, they kept on adding stuff, and Ben did his director's pass of the script, and they were kind of improvising stuff on the day. And like the screenplay had, like 7 or 8 voices in it. And then, the screenwriter, Adam Conover, I think his name is, said that he was on set, like late in production. And Ben pulled him aside and said, you know what, we're not going to arbitrate. Like, you're going to have sole credit on the screenplay because this was your idea. Like, you're the guy who wrote the first script. Like, you're the guy who pulled it out of obscurity. You're the reason why we're all here. Like, yeah, we all helped, but you have sole screenplay credit on this movie that we all worked on. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. That's right. Like, that's the way you do that, which is, yeah, man, you're the director. You're going to get all the credit anyway. You're getting paid 4 times what that kid is getting paid. You did your work. You made it great, and you let him have his moment.
Affleck is a classy dude. He was raised right. I saw his mom at the premiere, and like, I last time I saw her, it was much heavier than I was. So I was fucking looking at, I went and saw Ben and Jen and chit-chatted with them. And then when I was leaving, I saw Chris Affleck, and I was like, oh shit. And so I got in her eye line because she was having a conversation with somebody. And she looked at me and then looked away. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I went over and I was like, Mother Affleck, it's Kevin Smith. She goes, oh my, where did you go? And I was like, I lost a little weight and shit like that. She was very fucking sweet. But what was my point in telling that story? He was raised right. And I told her that. I was like, this motherfucker owes you everything. He was raised by an educator, man. His mom's a teacher and shit like that. So everybody's always like, every once in a while, a new Affleck thing comes out and people suddenly realize that he speaks very fluent Spanish. Yeah. One of his many gifts, like all week long on the internet, people are like, fuck calling him Ben, call him Benito. But his mom, I gave him credit for that. And she was like, Kevin, I didn't teach him Spanish. And I was like, you taught him fucking everything else, lady. Take all the credit. Somebody said, who was a Bonanista said, is Air historically accurate? Ben addressed this when he got up to intro the movie in the beginning. And, he said, look, it's pretty historically accurate, but we're making a movie here. So, they took some liberties and shit like that. So, don't go into Air looking for a historical document. He described it as a fable. He's like, it's an American fable, and he's absolutely fucking right. But there's enough historical accuracy in that movie, like to ground it to a place of like, oh yeah, this is based on true events. and they spend like, you know, the first fucking 4 minutes of the movie is like an 80s fucking travelogue to set the tone of where they were at the time and what was going on. Even that alone, before the movie began proper, the story proper, I had fucking Joker-like grin on my face just by falling down the 1984 fucking rabbit hole of like, oh my God. Like, it's a wonderful movie. Go see it.
Sweet. So yes, I think Ben would be a lovely guest for a Fat Man 400, but we'll think about it. And we'll figure out when exactly we're going to pull this off once JC's back from merry old England.
DILF.
Oh, DILF Man, what's up?
I just want to point out, as far as guests go, Davey Sockrocker spent $1.99 to say Kevin James, but he's right here already.
Deep cuts right there, man. Since we're going back to Super Chat, Wyatt Butts paid $20 to say, what about A Better Place, made by View Askew historian Vincent Pereira. That will be coming to Smodcastle as well. Mark my goddamn words, man. Just like we're showing Drawing Flies on May 7th, we'll be showing A Better Place as well this maybe this summer. I just came up with the full summer schedule that I at 3 a.m. and shit, sent it to Ernie to be like, this is what we're doing. We're leaning heavily into the movies that made me series all this summer. So we're gonna bring you fucking Goonies. We're gonna bring you fucking Beetlejuice. We're gonna show you so many movies that you could watch at home, and we're gonna overcharge you to watch them at Smodcastle. So you see them on the big screen. Jaws. We're gonna be showing fucking Jaws coming up and stuff. Anyway,
everything that's not owned by Disney.
Essentially, yes, absolutely. Because kids, I don't know if you know this or not, but Disney does not like Rep House. They don't like you showing their old shit. I guess they're fucking present and future and shit. So Universal, wonderful to work with. Warner Brothers, wonderful to work with, man. Warner Brothers reached out and like, do you want to show Superman? I was like, fuck yes. So we're gonna be showing Superman the movie soon. Paramount, easy to work with. The list goes on. Disney, they won't let you fucking touch one of their old movies, man. Like, and that includes now the Fox library. When I was on the road with the Clerks of the Convenience Store, I went to a lot of mom and pop theaters and shit, and they were all lamenting like the fucking loss of the Fox library. They can't show Alien anymore because Disney owns it and they threw it in the vault. And even it doesn't matter if you're like, please, can I fucking show? Even if you're like, can I show it for charity? They're like, no way. They don't do that. They just don't play like that. So like kids movies, as I've said, work insanely well at our theater. So Ernie has been like programmed, like we had, not only did we show the Muppet movie, but we had fucking Muppets Take Manhattan for like a week, and it outgrossed current fucking movies and shit like that. So Ernie was just like, what other kids movies can we show? And he started listing titles, and every one of them, I was like, we can't show the Aristocats. That's Disney. We can't show fucking that. That's Disney. We can't show fucking Toy Story. That's Disney. And he was like, what? So yes, Disney don't like to work with the Rep House theaters at all. They live in the present and the future. And I don't know why they won't fucking deal with the past, but there it is. Anyway.
Speaking of Disney and the future,
Excellent.
Star Wars Celebration. We got a bunch of fucking news. We got a bunch of first looks of stuff, some of which have seeped into the digital ether for all of us to watch legally, some of which are still behind inside the Disney vault. But we got the teaser trailer, whatever we're calling it, for Ahsoka, which is coming this August.
Yes.
Which
an amazing trailer, which we talked about earlier. And looks like basically Rebels season, whatever the fuck. But how awesome to see it come to life. Number one, I like, not just because I know her, but I fucking love Rosario Dawson, one of my favorite actors on the fucking planet. I was lucky enough to get to work with her in some stuff, in Clerks 2, Jane Silent Bob reboot, Clerks 3 more recently. She absolutely destroys in this fucking trailer. She is Ahsoka, and it's so fucking wonderful. We've seen her be Ahsoka in a couple episodes in Mandalorian and fucking Boba Fett, but I can't believe, and I'm so happy that they're giving this character her own series. I'm so delighted that it's Rosario, who walks between all fucking worlds, man. She's done DC work, Marvel work, Star Wars work. She wanted to do Star Trek work as well.
Yeah, we tried to make that happen. We tried to move heaven and earth, but we just couldn't get it done.
She's truly a fan. I ain't even gonna say she's a fan girl. She's practically a fanboy. She loves this shit so much. She's a fan person. Let's just leave it at that.
Indeed.
Who's also fucking one of the greatest living actors we have. She's legit fucking wonderful and everything. One of my favorite performances she ever gave was in Spike Lee's 25th Hour, one of my favorite fucking movies of all time and stuff. But she's wonderful in absolutely everything. And she looks fantastic in this movie. I don't mean just the look. I mean fucking her fucking whipping those lightsabers into the ground and doing this shit and it's spinning. They did that once in fucking, I think it was an episode of Rebels and shit. Same fucking trick. You could tell Dave Filoni deeply involved in Ahsoka.
Very much so. I mean, it seems as if, I mean, Dave Filoni being now the kind of, you know, the new George Lucas for the TV stuff in Star Wars is I know what works. I know what I love. This has all been sort of a long game so that I could bring Clone Wars and Rebels to real life and cast people who'd be great in it. In fact, cast some of the people who did the voice work for the original stuff. I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn, you know, whatever Mickelson they found, the Mickelson farm, found another Mickelson, Lars, I believe his name is now, who was the voice of Thrawn on the cartoons, is now going to be the live action Grand Admiral.
And it's not even like they got a robot playing him and he's doing the voice. It's literally him as the actor.
Yeah.
Wearing fucking blue and everything like that. How awesome is that, man? God bless Dave Filoni and his funny hat, because this is a man who deeply cares about Star Wars. I remember doing an interview, I think maybe it was for the Tonight Show, I forget who it was, but I was interviewing Filoni, and you know, it was at the time where you shit all over the fucking prequels and shit like that. And he was the first one to like stop me dead in my tracks, not in a shitty way to be like, fuck you, but he was like, you don't understand how fucking beautiful those movies are. And he took me on a deep dive about the Lucas prequels and shit. And he was right. Like he flipped me. He flipped my script completely. That was before they gave him the fucking keys to the kingdom, him and Fabs. I love what he's fucking doing. I love the fact that he's like, you know what? Ahsoka's just going to be fucking Rebels in live action. I love what we also heard, which I guess might be part of the news, which is about how he's wrapping up Mandalorian. Like, you got it.
And it's really, it's both smart from a story perspective and smart from a financial perspective, which is you can't charge people for Mandalorian, really. You get you get $14.99 to subscribe to Disney Plus, and there's some merch that you can get for sure, but you can't get people to buy stuff the way you used to. You can't charge them for admission the way you used to. This way, now suddenly they're making a Star Wars movie. They're making it big, and now you get to make $300-400 million domestically, 500-600 internationally on a TV show that you were giving people ultimately for free, you know, and like wrap it all up in a movie, put a nice bow on it, like tell the story of Mandalore's final chapter, the story of Din Djarin and young Grogu not being so young, maybe learning how to speak words. I don't know. Any of those things are possible, but
did they say when that's happening?
They didn't. They didn't put any dates on it because I think they've since learned their lesson. Do not promise things in Star Wars land because it's always a shifting delicacy buffet. I think that the thing of the Ahsoka trailer that worked for me most was Rosario, because I never watched Rebels. So like I don't have a real connection to these characters. Like I know people, oh, that's Sabine Wren and there's Thrawn and I'm like, I don't know who any of those people are, but I know who Rosario is and I know who Ahsoka is. And I think she's so good. She just drags me into it, even though I don't have a real connection to it.
And they gave her the $1 billion line in the trailer where she's like, where she literally says, heir to the empire. And you're like, oh,
that was the name of a book.
Books. Timothy's on, holy shit. And how sweet for him. Like those books are no longer canon and shit. But now Filoni found a way to kind of bring him in and make him canon. He literally had her say heir to the empire, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
That's fan service right there, kids. Remember earlier in the chat, somebody was like, shit on Star Wars, shit on Star Wars. I can't when somebody cares this much, when you could feel the fandom. Like, and that trailer is nothing but fucking fandom.
Yeah. Like I spent some time in this podcast shitting on Star Wars.
In this very episode,
shitting on Star Wars. But I always come to these things with hope, because the first one of these I saw was A New Hope. And so I come to these with A New Hope every time because, and hoping that they will recapture the thing that I love about Star Wars. It's been a while. So, but I keep
Been a
wanting.
while.
It's been a while. And it seems as if Star Wars is trying their fucking best because now Daisy Ridley is back. Rey is back. The movie that we'd heard announced a couple of years ago that Damon Lindelof and Justin Brett Gibson were writing that they have since left and is now being written by Stephen Knight, who he of Peaky Blinders fame, directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who's behind Ms. Marvel, is the return of Rey, is the next chapter in the Rey story.
So Rey's getting her own movie or series?
She's getting her own movie. They're not promising any series of anything anymore. At the very least, there will be one movie that, according to Kathleen Kennedy, it's the story of the rebuilding of the new Jedi Order and the powers that rise to tear it down. Rey will be the powerful Jedi Master rebuilding the Order. So, fuck yeah. Like,
wait a second. So here's my question.
Yes.
You're J.J. Abrams.
Mm.
Do you get a piece of that because like he created Rey? He created Rey with a bunch of other people?
I imagine that it all belongs to Lucasfilm.
Probably does.
Probably does. I mean, I don't know if he has some kind of, sweeten the pot character creation payments that he'll get a piece of.
He should. He ain't on SuperChats, so I don't know how he's making his fucking money. So give him a piece of Rey, goddammit. Rey, a drop of golden fucking cash.
Yeah.
Wait, so they announced a Mandalorian movie, or they're not necessarily calling it Mandalorian movie, but
right. But that's Dave Filoni's feature film is probably going to sweep up the story of Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and I think Ahsoka. Let me double check.
And then they also announced a Rey movie.
They announced a Rey movie, and then James Mangold announced a third movie, which is set. It's a biblical epic, apparently, set 25,000 years before any other Star Wars content thus far. It's going to wrestle with the ideas of where the Force came from, when did we discover it, and when did we learn how to use it.
Normally, I would be like, what? But fucking James Mangold is a fantastic filmmaker.
I mean, looking at the new indie trailer that dropped.
Oh my God. How good is that fucking trailer? And they open with fucking Sympathy for the Devil and shit.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't give away very much of what the story is.
No, it doesn't. You really don't.
It's a masterful trailer in that way, because I think we all realize that they just, half the time they just tell us the movie in the trailers. Here's
This
what's
is
going
the
to happen.
guy who made 310 to Yuma fucking work. This is a guy who made fucking Ford versus Ferrari. I didn't give a fuck about cars, man. And I love that fucking movie. This is a guy who made Logan, for heaven's sakes. This is a guy, I can go on and on. He's honestly like the best of us. I don't even include myself as an us in the fucking directorial caliber of a James Mangold. So you tell me James Mangold's doing a Star Wars story set long before fucking Star Wars, long before the prequels, long before the fucking Force even began, maybe the midi-chloridian story, whatever the fuck. Normally I'd be like, what? But is that guy? You got my money. I'm already on board. This dude is a master storyteller.
It's that guy.
The Kate and Leopold guy.
Deep cuts, deep Mangold cuts.
I used to work at Miramax.
If you were on the ground in London for Celebration, you got to see the first look at The Acolyte, Leslie Headland's new series.
Speaking of Miramax, when I met Leslie Headland, she was my friend John Gordon's assistant, who worked at fucking Miramax back in the day. And then I remember one day, and she was like, hey man, I wrote a play. Will you come see it? Me and Moshe was like, yeah. And I don't think we ever did. But I've watched her quietly fucking ascend, man. Like I remember she wrote the About Last Night remake and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now she fucking doing The Acolyte, which is apparently amazing based on reaction people had.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that, right? They're not putting that online or anything.
They haven't put it online yet. Apparently it's a prequel set 100 years before the Skywalker saga. So it's in the High Republic when the Jedi were just fucking everywhere. Leslie Headland has described it as Frozen meets Kill Bill in pitch meetings. Fuck yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Those are three good words that I like. Frozen meets Kill Bill. Amandla Sternberg from The Hate You Give and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is in it. Lee Jung-jae from Squid Game, Jodie Turner-Smith from Queen and Slim, and Manny Jacinto from The Good Place and was cut out of Top Gun Maverick are all these sort of that's the cast that they're rolling with. And so
What is
down for that.
Yeah, all and nothing but positive like feedback for
Yeah.
what they saw. People have been loving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody pointed out in chat, hold on, where is it? Fraser Lomas said Copland was great. Excellent fucking point. James Mangold did fucking Copland as well. But Algery473 says, but does James Mangold know anything about Star Wars or knowledge of Star Wars lore? James Mangold is of a certain age. I think he's younger than me, but anybody who fucking grew up in the 70s watching these movies, kids, knows their Star Wars. I don't think that dude throws his hat into the fucking ring. Like, y'all saw Logan, right?
Yeah.
Like, the man knows his shit. He knows his lore. So I don't think he goes anywhere near Star Wars unless he feels supremely confident. I mean, this guy could get a job anywhere. So he certainly don't need to jump on the Star Wars train. If he's doing that, I think it's coming from a place of love. Also, he just did the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So obviously somebody there was like, hey man, can you cross the street and fucking come over to Star Wars? And they're lucky to have him. That's what I say.
Yeah. And he's got a story to tell. I mean, I'm not going to say that any writer can write anything, because clearly there are people who have proclivities and talents in one zone versus another. But that is a dude who seems to, like, if he's interested in it, he will do deep fucking research in it and then deliver. Like, I don't know how much of a Wolverine he was a deep lore fan of, but Logan is the best X-Men. Like, I don't know if he could give a shit about Fords and or Ferraris, but I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And so, like, he just seems to be a filmmaker who, when he invests in a thing and does the work in a thing, can just find, and has a story he wants to tell, can find his way to make it work. And so I'm here for whatever version that is.
The Funk Bomb Bro, the Game Cat, said Kevin Smith needs to do a Star Wars movie. No, he does not. Look, I'm the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan. I'm here to tell you he would drop the fucking ball. Don't trust Kevin Smith with a Star Wars anything. You know what Kevin Smith does? References Star Wars in movies. That's the exact level of his talent. That's the glass ceiling that he's got. If they gave me the keys of the kingdom and they were like, you do whatever you want, I'm not that imaginative. Like, when it comes to this shit, that's where I stop being a filmmaker and I just resort to being a fan. That's where all this shit came from. Why I do what I do is because I grew up watching shit like Star Wars, reading Marvel comics and stuff. But I don't need to make that shit because I know my limitations and I'm very limited, kids, very limited. So I'm the guy you want writing shit where characters talk about that shit. I'm not the guy you want anywhere near Star Wars anything. Unless in a world where they're putting Jack Blacks and Lizzos in fucking Star Wars things, like, Fabs, I know a guy who's been talking about this shit for decades. And you know him, call. Anyway.
We got some updates about Andor season 2.
Hold on, is that it for the Star Wars movies? Did they say anything about Ryan Johnson's?
According to Variety, Kathleen Kennedy did give an update on Ryan Johnson, said that he is so busy working on the next Benoit Blanc film that it might be some time before we see Johnson's Star Wars movie.
I was going to say, because my man's fucking like stars on the, like, beyond on the rise. He's now legitimately part of the firmament and shit like that. And he don't need Star Wars at all. I know some people get testy about, fucking The Last Jedi or whatever the fuck. You know how I feel about The Last Jedi. Now, between those fucking Knives Out movies and what's the show he's doing with Natasha Lyonne?
Yeah, Poker Face.
Which everybody fucking loves.
It's so
like,
good.
He's an institution and he don't even need Star Wars. So naturally, it'll probably be a few years before he gets there. But I think by the time he circles back after he's done doing all his shit, I bet you he does something fucking special.
Yeah. So his movie is coming, but slowly. And Taika Waititi is also working on a movie. And according to Kathleen Kennedy, he's still writing his script. He doesn't want to bring others into that process, and I don't blame him. He has a very unique voice, so we want to protect that, and that's what he's doing. And we're going to make that one day, whenever that day may come.
Somebody in chat, Dipsy Doo in chat just said, imagine if instead of Jack Black and Lizzo, it was Kevin and Marc. I can imagine that.
Oh, totally. I would happily fucking Night Grogu and kissy face with Kevin as the gay rulers.
We would be the ones jumping the fucking Mandalorian shark, if you will, space shark. But nobody calls. Nobody cares.
Yep.
Nobody calls. We sit here and blow this shit every 2 hands like the Saturday Night Live sketch. fucking every goddamn week, but phone don't ring and shit.
Nope, because I apparently shit on it every other week. So
Is that what's holding us back? You?
could be. It could be. You've hitched a
You're
wagon.
sitting in the Millennium Falcon right now.
I know, guys. I'm right here. Andor season 2 is coming. Apparently, August 2024 is the.
From what I read, the last shot of Andor season 2 goes right to the first shot of Rogue One. They consider Rogue One to be the Andor season 1, Andor season 2, and Rogue One is a trilogy.
Yeah, according to Gilroy, he said, "We know exactly where we're going. You have to, you know what you have to deliver emotionally and what the story has to do. It's a decision born of survival, but it's good for us creatively." Apparently, season 2 will take place over 4 years, with 4 3-episode long pods telling a story from each year, and then it ends with Rogue One.
I love Tony Gilroy, and I never loved him more than when he fucking mentioned Clerks in his round of press. He was just like, remember that scene from Clerks talking about the Star Wars contractor, Death Star contractors? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, did he fucking just say what I thought he said? It was very sweet of him, man. Star Wars obviously is a phenomenon that influenced a great deal of my work. To have somebody in Star Wars even fucking give me the tiniest fucking like, oh yeah, there was a bit of influence there, was like fucking breathtaking to me. That being said, I still haven't watched all of Andor season 1. I will.
Dude, so good. So good.
That's what I hear from literally everybody. Everybody's like, dude, it's the best Star Wars that has existed in a while. So I look forward to finishing it.
Nice. 2 more little bits out of Celebration. Tales of the Jedi is getting a second season. Dave Filoni's sort of anthology, just kind of telling little stories in and around the continuity.
Wait, what's that?
Tales of the Jedi. Did you not see season 1 of Tales of the Jedi?
The animated thing.
Yes.
Yes. So what Dave Filoni did that?
Yeah.
And now he's doing season 2?
Doing season 2. And also a season 2 of the Star Wars Visions anthology, which was Star Wars is interpreted by various animation houses from all over the world, is coming back for season 2 on May the 4th. And one of the, at least judging by the trailer, which did drop, one of the animation houses that's doing a Star Wars short is Aardman, who did the Wallace and Gromit cartoons
and Chicken
Run
and Flushed Away.
Yes, the great fucking Aardman Studios.
Oh, awesome! So they're going to do stop motion claymation.
Yeah. It looks so cool.
Kids, remember when Clerks came out? If you were alive, and they talked about the Death Star contractors. When I wrote that scene, it was like, oh man, remember Star Wars? Because we never thought we were getting another Star Wars thing ever again. Now, all the Star Wars things, there will never not be a Star War between now and the time me and Marc leave this fucking best of all possible. There's gonna be Star Wars forever, man. It's never gonna stop. Like and I'm here for it. You know, and some people get kind of stinky about it and shit. Hey man, make all the Star Wars you can, because some of it will be great, some of it will just be okay. But you know what? As a kid who grew up watching this shit, I'm here for it. I know some people are like, you can't get nostalgic for something if it won't go away. It's never going away. And I'm okay with that.
One other piece of Star Wars news that did not come from Celebration, but dropped just before it, is Donald Glover, according to an interview with GQ magazine, said that he is more than open to playing Lando Calrissian again. He said,
which I hear is happening, right?
I mean, you know, according to him, he's gonna love to play Lando again. It was fun time to be him. It just needs to be the right way to do it. Since the pandemic, he's not interested in doing anything that's just going to be a waste of my time or just a paycheck. I'd rather spend time with people I enjoy. But he has been talking to Lucasfilm about playing Lando again, saying Lando is definitely somebody I'd like to hang out with. We're talking about it, but that's as much as I can say without Kathleen Kennedy hunting me down.
I'm here for it, man. I thought he did a great job as Lando. But if they're going to do a Lando something, I hope to God it starts with Billy D. Williams Lando reminiscing about his younger days, so that we get to see him and then we get to see Donald Glover, and like young Indiana Jones, but with Lando.
Young Lando Calrissian. Just do that. Leaving a galaxy far, far away and returning to our current one, Harry Potter seems to be shifting into television. The long rumored Harry.
Who knew? Who knew that? I mean, look, we always knew that fucking once they made money, they're like, all right, here's Fantastic Beasts. And we always knew they had like fucking the cursed child waiting in the wings that they could always do.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why I'm fucking an idiot, not a visionary. I'm like, well, Harry Potter's done. They did those movies. They'll never do them again. And now they're like, you're out of your fucking mind. Do you know how many Batmans there have been? You know how many Spider-Mans there are? Guess how many Harry Potters are going to be before you drop dead? A lot. So now they're talking about doing a series on HBO Max or whatever they wind up calling it.
Yeah. I mean, HBO Max potentially if I had to guess, I'd say it's actually going to end up being HBO proper. But yeah, and the general idea is for each season of the potential TV series to focus on one book in the Harry Potter book series, which consists of 7 novels.
I would think that there's an entire generation of kids who are like, sacrilege, because Daniel Radcliffe is the only Harry Potter. But, you know, as we've seen, if it makes a dime, it will never end, kids. They own your childhood like they own ours. So I guess it makes sense. I mean, think about it. Those movies, you're putting like fucking all those stories into like 2-hour blocks, 2.5 hours, sometimes almost 3. But the chance to actually fucking go deep, like balls deep, with an episodic nature that covers literally everything in the fucking books, you know, makes sense. I would have never thought of it, but I'm not very visionary. I made 3 Clerkses. So I got to imagine somewhere somebody was like, wait, we could fucking do all the books as opposed to just fucking sections of the book. Man, we can go balls deep in this shit, and that's what looks like what's going to happen. So get ready for it. You can't escape Harry Potter.
No, I mean, and I 100% get it, you know, that there was always going to be another boy who lived, even though the current boy who lived is whatever, 32 years old. It's weird that they're just retelling the same stories. That's the odd part. Like when you get a new Indiana Jones, when you get a new Batman, you get a new James Bond, they're not just remaking the old stuff that you already saw once.
True, and they've never remade Star Wars. They keep adding to it. It's not like they're like, remember Star Wars? Well, here's the 2023 version of it. Same fucking story, A New Hope. They keep building onto their mythology. But this, you're right. This is literally retreading the same story. This is like I'm not putting it in the same class, but you know how they remade RoboCop? Like that's that's what's going on here, where they're just like, oh, we're remaking it, but we're just making it longer and you can watch it on TV, which I guess makes sense financially.
Speaking of
how much you want to bet though that they do the series and then the fucking final books are movies or whatever the fuck. They're going to take their cues off of whatever happens with Dave Filoni wrapping up The Mandalorian with its own fucking feature. You better bet that fucking Warner Brothers is going to be like, oh yeah, it's a TV series until it's a fucking movie we can make $1 billion off of to wrap this all up. Once we, you know, the first fucking taste is not free. We all pay for HBO Max. Well, some of us do. But the fucking, when it comes to the end, they're going to probably make you shell out to go see it in the movie theater. That would be my guess. But you know what? I'll probably be dead by the time this all ends. Because how many books they got? 7 books?
7 books.
By the time they get started, let's say it's like 2 years from now, I'll be 54, 7 books. That takes me to 61. For sure, I'll be dead. I'll never see the end of this fucking thing. You see how enthusiastic I get about all this. My heart races and whatnot. I'm a heart attack victim and whatnot. I got heart ailments. I'll probably be dead by the time this all happens. But I'm happy to know it exists.
You know, I think they'll do it fast enough that you'll probably get to see it, because whatever kids they cast, you'll probably want to be the kids that are in it.
That's such a good point. I was thinking about it today. I was like, boy, they got to fucking make that show like, because those kids will age.
Yeah.
Kids do that. You know, unless they find some kids from another world who stay the same age and shit. Get older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. They have to fucking keep it in real time because kids get older, man.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Stranger Things kids who are all now like
28
in their 20s.
Yes. They all got fucking mortgages and homes.
Like you still go to high school, bro?
Yeah, man. Like you can't, like, I bet you Well, I mean, look, they got the books. It's not like they're like, what's the story going to be?
Right.
And it sounds like she's involved, J.K. Rowling.
She has to be. That's her contract. They can't do anything without her.
So maybe before they shoot, maybe they're going to do it like David Lynch did the Twin Peaks series, where he's like, here's the script. It's a 900-page script. And we're going to shoot the whole thing at once. That would make sense. But man, oh man, those kids, whoever they get, those kids are going to miss out on a fucking childhood. I'll tell you right now, because they ain't leaving the inside of that fucking brick building. They're going to leave rich, but they're fucking never going to experience life because they're going to have to make Harry Potter every day for like at least 6 years straight, if not 7.
Yeah. It's going to be the same thing with the Game of Thrones kids, right? Like, Arya Stark, Maisie Williams was what, like 12 or 13 when they started and was 25 when they wrapped up. And like, find these kids who can play young for a long time because they're going to be working for a long time.
Long time.
Speaking of kids who grew up and are growing out of their roles, Netflix has found a solution to their Stranger Things issue. I mean, not the least of which is that the upcoming 5th season is going to be the end of it. But now there's an animated Stranger Things that is spinning out of it.
I'm sorry. So season 5, that hasn't happened yet. It's coming.
Correct.
That's going to be the end of Stranger Things.
That's the end of Stranger Things.
And now they're going to do an animated series.
Yep. According to the Duffer Brothers, we've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of the Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up loving. And to see this dream realized has been absolutely thrilling. We couldn't be more blown away. The scripts and artwork are incredible, and we can't wait to share more with you. The adventure continues.
You want to talk about some poor kids who've been locked in a fucking brick building for the last few years. Those Duffer Brothers, man.
Yeah.
All they do is Stranger Things, and they got no choice. It's their fucking baby and stuff. But boy, they've been working on that since before we all saw it and shit like that. What will they follow it up with, I wonder?
Well, their production company signed a massive overall deal with Netflix. They're adapting. They have plans to adapt as TV series Death Note, the manga/anime series, as well as Stephen King's The Talisman.
Well, there you go. We got an answer. Look at that. I was wondering. Mark filled in the blanks. That's what we come to this show for. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. We got 2 more stories. One of them is fun, and the other one is intensely less fun. But shit.
Ryan Coogler apparently wants to reboot the X-Files.
Let him.
Let him.
The fucking storyteller. Who's standing in his way?
Apparently nobody. According to Chris Carter, who created the X-Files, Creed and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler is looking to be at the helm of this new project. The new take on the series, which Carter refers to as a remount, is an apparent departure from the X-Files Albuquerque, an animated comedy spinoff that Carter was supposed to produce in 2020. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see.
You know what I say to that? I say, everybody clap your hands. Clap your hands. I would love to see more X-Files, and I would love to Ryan Coogler has not let us down once. Not even half a once. So give them all the X-Files. Will there be Mulder and Scully or no?
It does not seem it'll be Mulder and Scully. According to Carter's quote, I spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler, who's going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast. So he's got his work cut out for him because we covered so much territory.
I mean, I guess technically he is a young man, but how weird it's like when we were like, this kid, Tim Miller, about the guy who did Deadpool is older than us.
Yes, this young man. And now for it's hard to call this bad news, but the great Al Jaffe of Mad Magazine fame passed away at 102 years old.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
102. I mean, look, fucking nobody likes to lose anybody, but 102 for the man behind the fold-in?
The man behind the fold-in. The organ failure is the cause of death. After celebrating his 102nd birthday last month.
Wow. 102.
102.
This man was responsible for so many happy moments in my childhood. I was an ardent Mad Magazine reader and fan. It was weird that I didn't engage as much with the Mad Magazine TV show, the Mad Show. I was on it once, but like as much as I loved Mad Magazine, I mean, nothing comes close. I could still sing It's a Great Big Beautiful Wonderful Incredible Super Spectacular Day. That was one of the albums they gave away for free at Mad Super Special. And Al Jaffe, seeing his drawings, seeing his very singular artwork throughout all of my childhood and well into my fucking adulthood as well, always made me happy. This man was a gifted artist and a funny one at that, who holds a special place in my heart with Don Martin, fucking Severin, guy that worked for like Cracked magazine. He started at fucking, or was it Crazy? Cracked. All those fucking people of my childhood that like wrote, you know, the humor magazines, you know, National Lampoon came later when it was more grown up and stuff. But as a kid, fucking Al Jaffe's name was like, as a rock star name in my world, still to this day. And I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm happy to know that he lived to be 102 years old.
102. The first fold-in was in 1964. Inspired, according to Jaffe, by the centerfolds in Playboy and other magazines. Let's see, a 4-volume hardcover box set called the Mad Fold-In Collection 1964 to 2010 was published about 10 years ago by Chronicle Books. His final fold-in was published in the magazine's August 2020 Jaffe tribute issue and served as his farewell upon his retirement at age 99.
He drew a fucking fold-in at age 99?
Well, he stopped drawing in 99. It was drawn 6 years before, initially to be published at his death. The unfolded illustration depicts Mad mascot Alfred E. Newman beneath a slew of bad news, out of business signs. When folded, the signs instead read, "No more new Jaffe fold-ins," with a peaceful-looking portrait of Jaffe floating above the fray. In all, he created more than...
Make you fucking cry, bro. That's beautiful. And so what? They published it long before his death, so he got to see it published.
He got to see it published. He created more than 500 back cover fold-ins, covering things from Jesus Christ, from Beatlemania to President Donald Trump's proposed healthcare plan.
Wow, man, that guy kept working.
Yeah,
that's recent history.
In 2016, he was recognized by the Guinness World Records as the longest working cartoonist in comics history.
Did they list anything else he didn't? And are we forgetting, like, did he do snappy answers to stupid questions?
He did. Indeed. And let's see, blah, blah, blah. He started.
I remember my childhood. I remember.
Yeah, he started at MAD in 1955. He briefly left there to work on the short-lived Humbug humor magazine. He returned in 58. And yes, he contributed the popular feature, Snappy Answers to Stupid Questions.
Legend. Absolute fucking legend. And he deserved to live as long as he lived. I mean, unless, you know, that was painful or whatever the fuck, because that guy deserves no pain whatsoever. I'm sorry his organs shut down, but my God, fucking, I don't know what is responsible for us. Somebody in the chat said we need to accept Jesus as Lord or whatever earlier on. I don't know about, I can't speak to how we're here, why we're here, and fucking who put us here, if anybody did. But I thank whatever good Lord or fucking force of the universe is out there that let a man who brought that much fucking joy, palpable joy in this world, let him live to be 102. Nobody wants to die, I don't think. And I'm glad he didn't for a long ass time. Fuck. I hope those last years weren't as, you know, fucking terrible as it can be when, you know, in a world where your fucking organs shut down. Fuck, man, he just missed them finding the cure. Keep reading about they're finding the cure for death. They're going to be able to prolong our lives even more. Guy like that would have deserved another fucking 20, man. All those mad artists and writers, you know, made me so happy throughout my childhood. Part of what I do today, you know, in my creative DNA, you'll find a lot of Mad magazine and whatnot. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. What is it if not a Mad movie special, for heaven's sakes? I mean, it's kind of like the Muppet movie with dirty words in it, but it owes a lot to Mad magazine. And I owe a lot to Al Jaffe. He always put a fucking smile on my face. Just when you were done with fucking Mad magazine, they had one more fucking joke and that was the fold in. And let's be honest, most of us started with the fold in anyway. Pour one out for the great Al Jaffe. Fuck.
Indeed. Yeah. Yes, Matt will post in the chat is like they're finding a cure for death. Yeah.
Every once in a while I read that online and I graze the article and I'm like, fucking A, do it.
Yeah.
Do it in my lifetime. I mean, look, finding the cure for death would be great. Finding the cure to stop fucking aging would be even better. Because I don't want to look like, you know, what you don't see right here, kids, is if you came in late, I was busy doing fucking Silent Bob earlier today. And Emily, who does my makeup and shit, she colored in all my whites that normally you would see my beard. So if I look particularly young, that's, you know, the fucking glory of makeup and shit like that. The whites are moving in. They're gentrifying the fuck out of my face and I can't stand it. It's unavoidable ages unless somebody fucking cures it. Because I would like to be this age forever. I always thought I would have liked to be 18 forever and shit, but 52 is not fucking bad, man.
No. And I remember reading something, God, it was a couple of years ago, that was just saying that like they don't really know why people die of natural causes. Like they're never entirely sure what the medical reason for it is, other than it just happens all the time. 100% of the time, people die. But they're like, yeah, the body technically should not run out of gas. You know, like we can replace most of it if we need to. Like we can give you a new heart, we can give you a transplant, we can rebuild your knees, we can give you pacemakers, we can, you know, we can get you we can fucking take you into the shop and give you an entirely new innards. But why do people still die anyway? And they just don't have an answer for that. And so I think that's the cure, quote unquote cure they're trying to figure out. It's just an answer to that question of why even if we replace everything, you're still going to pass away.
In chat, Jim Tomlin says, nothing on Super Mario Brothers. We did kind of talk about it, how much money it made and stuff like that. And it's probably going to wind up being the highest grossing film at Smodcastle Cinemas. My tenure, the movie just keeps making fucking money for us, particularly. We get a lot of kids in Atlantic Highlands at Smodcastle Cinemas. But I haven't seen it, and Skippy Marc didn't see it, so much more we can't say about it other than until we see it. We did talk about it, so.
I also wonder, like, I know that LAUSD, the school district, the like second biggest school district in the country in Los Angeles, was on spring break last week. And so if you're going to open a fucking movie, the best time to open a kids movie is when kids are not in school. Yeah. I don't know how much around the country that spring break happened to sync up. I don't know what Jersey's was like, but that would explain some of the reason why it did gross as much as it did.
Gina Ziegler, who goes to like all of our fucking Smodcastle events, man, she's a Smodcastle keeper right next to Ernie O'Donnell. She said that's been packed at Smodcastle. She's talking about Super Mario Brothers. She's lying, man. Like I said earlier in the show, Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell texted me in the middle of the night to tell me how fucking good, how great that Super Mario Brothers did on the Wednesday opening at Smodcastle. Like we may build a fucking statue to Super Mario Brothers at Smodcastle Cinemas, because that's the only movie motherfuckers have come out to see other than us showing like Mallrats and stuff like that.
See, now you should program in the old Super Mario Brothers, but don't tell people.
Who made that?
I mean, I feel like that was a New Line movie. Maybe.
I saw an article, I guess it was in Variety or something, where they talked to the directors. I mean, those poor sons of bitches. I think they're a married couple. They took a lot of shit when that movie came out back in the day. But they just showed it out here at Quentin's cinema, the New Beverly. You know, he loves prints, and they still got a print of that movie and stuff. Do you know there was no print ever made of Tusk because we shot digitally and fucking, you know, blah, blah, blah. But Quentin called and requested, he was like, can I make a print of Tusk? And that ain't cheap anymore to make a print. You know, it used to be like $2-3 grand back in the day. Now it's one long fucking effect shot. But he's such a Michael Parks fan that he was like, I want to print. And because he don't show digital at his theater anymore. You know, they used to back in the day, but he won't do it anymore. He's got like a massive fucking library of 35 millimeter. So he he was on his podcast with Roger Avery talking up the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then they showed it at the New Beverly to a packed house and shit. And the article in Variety was very warm, talking to the directors who were like, you know, Quentin likes it, and he said nice things about it. And they went to the screening, and they were like, everybody was laughing in all the right places, not at it anymore. It's nice when motherfuckers can get a second bite at the apple, because boy, they took it on the Yoga Hoser's chin back when that movie came out. Gives me hope that one day people will be like, nah, Yoga Hosers wasn't that bad. I doubt it, but gives me hope.
Everything comes around.
True. Everything finds its time.
That's the end of the news, my friend.
That's it?
That's it.
Yes.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
You ain't kidding. That's so much fucking news. Oh my God. Give it up for Marc Bernardin for giving you all the news. In chat, is there anything we missed that you guys fucking wanted to? What the fuck is this? Poisonous Plants 15 said, did you guys discuss Clayface potentially being the villain in the Batman 2? Is that a thing? Or is that just somebody being like, discuss? I hope so. That'd be fucking wonderful. But I don't know how they do that, because he likes doing that shit real, right? Like fucking the Batman was all about how fucking close to reality. So I don't know how to get away with Clayface unless they do the Boris Karloff version of the character, who is a guy, an actor and shit like that, as opposed to the hulking fucking Clayface. Anything else that we missed? I can't imagine that.
Oh, you know, one thing that I didn't mention, when I was at the Overlook Film Festival, I got to see Renfield.
Oh shit! What?
Yeah, that was the opening night film of the festival was Renfield.
And
it's super fun. It is super fun. Like,
best casting on the planet.
Fucking Nicolas Cage is just going for it. You know, in every way you want Nicolas Cage to go for it. And Nick Holt is amazing. I mean, the thing about the movie is, and I'm not going to spoil very much, but I think it's there in the trailers, is that it's just a big gloss on codependency. It's a big gloss on a guy who's got a domineering boss.
One of my favorite subjects as of late, codependency.
You know, who just feels like he can't live without him, and so he'll do anything to please him. But he's awful for him. You know, like there's nothing good comes from the relationship for Renfield between him and Dracula, but he can't leave. And so making it about that is actually really smart. And all of the ways you get to play that kind of relationship dynamic is really, really well done. There's another kind of love
plays
story.
Renfield. It's the Beast.
Nicholas Hoult. Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult.
It's the Beast. It's Nux. He's shiny in chrome into Valhalla.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God, you're right.
And
many of the things.
The titular boy in About a Boy.
And also, wasn't he in that Catherine the Great series or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, The Great.
The Great.
Yeah. Very talented, and it's super gory, but not like scary gory, but just like pulpy gory.
And how great is Nick Cage?
He went full Cage.
I hear he shaved his. I read he shaved his teeth down.
I mean, he might have shaved his teeth down to like put in the appliances that are his teeth, but like those ain't those teeth. that's some fucked up makeup shit there. But I love the fact that we're kind of coming back to realizing exactly how amazing an actor Nicolas Cage is.
Yes.
You know, because he was in the wilds for a while. Like he would just do whatever. Like, you want me to do this direct-to-video thing over here? Sure. You want me to be in this dumb, weird-ass movie that nobody's going to see that we shoot in Bulgaria for $87? Sure. I just got to work. And then kind of the Mandy stuff came back around, and then like Color Out of Space came around, and Pig came around, and people are beginning to realize like this brand of weird is a thing that you can actually kind of channel and bottle. And when you can uncork it the right way, it's phenomenal.
Smod bless Panos Cosmatos for casting fucking Nick Cage in Mandy. I'm not going to say that's where the comeback began, but like he got Nick Cage to Nick Cage. And what's the movie he did recently with Pedro Pascal, the fucking
unbelievable weight of unbearable genius or something like that.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful, fucking enjoyable ass movie. Well made, funny as fuck. Like, and to say only Nick Cage could do it is, you know, fucking an understatement to say the least, man. Nick Cage, one of my favorite actors, going way the fuck back to Valley Girl, which is having its 40th anniversary this year, and they asked me to moderate a Q&A at the Chinese Theater. I don't know if they've announced this yet, but if they haven't, they better announce it soon because it's coming up. April 27th, I think it is. Like, I'm leaving CinemaCon a day early so I can come back here and moderate the Valley Girl screening. I don't know if Nick Cage is going or not. I don't know who's involved, but they were like, we hear you like it. I was like, fuck yeah, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a movie that taught me about love, amongst many other movies and stuff. But that one especially, that was my Romeo and Juliet, goddammit. So, and he's go watch that movie if you haven't seen Valley Girl ever or lately. You're talking, you can see from that movie that dude was the man to watch. And I have watched him ever since then, my whole career. He's been many things, but fucking he'll always be Randy in Valley Girl to me. He's so fucking, I told him when I moderated, I interviewed him at Sundance when I was doing IMDb interviews. And I also was the moderator on a Mandy screening that him and Panos went to and stuff. And I got to tell him, I was like, bro, everything I know about being a guy involved with a girl, I pretty much stole from fucking Valley Girl. And that's you. And he was like, oh, Kevin, you're very sweet. And then he fucking complimented Tusk, bro.
Wow.
Like, before it was fashionable. He was like, and let me say Tusk. And he said some nice shit about Tusk. My heart fucking, I almost vomited my heart up. Because I was like, a man whose work I've always loved and shit, like literally loved Tusk. Believe me, if I make a Tusk sequel, one of the first fucking phone calls I'm making is to Nick Cage, but he'll probably be too big now to do a Tusk thing. But he was a big fan of Michael Parks. I think that's why he watched the movie, but he loved it. He may be a big fan of Justin Long as well. Justin Long got engaged to Lois Lane. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, so Lois Lane from, what was the Superman movie called? Superman Returns.
Oh.
What is the actress name? Oh my God. I can't believe Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth. I was like, that Trump show.
Yes. He's been fucking in love for a while now and shit. And he put up an Instagram post about like fucking them getting engaged and shit. And then I saw it. I fucking put in my comments. I was like, she said walrus, yes. Which is deep cuts, fucking Tusk. So happy for him. He's such, and happy for her because let me tell you something. Justin Long's a fucking catch, man. Like I love my wife, but I'd leave her for Justin Long. He's fucking the ideal man because he's funny as fuck, talented as fuck. And I think I bet you $10,000 he's a hell of a lover.
He seemed like a very nice dude when I met him when we did whatchamacallit, Family Feud.
Family Feud. I know he kicked our asses, him and his whole fucking team and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Justin Long to death. Even one of my favorite actors on the planet. And very much like a Nick Cage, where it's just like he fucking commits and does shit nobody else does. What is that fucking movie he was just in? Barbarian. Such a great fucking flick. But anyway, congratulations. No, I was right.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you.
All those letters worked. Congratulations.
Now that I'm not stoned all the time, I'm like, is that the right word? Congratulations to the great Justin Long and Kate Bosworth, man.
Indeed.
I don't know which one made out better in that relationship. Look, him I know, and her I just know her work. And I will say this: she's a fucking lucky woman to snap that guy up. He's a catch.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the news. That's all we got to say. Renfield is also fantastic. So I think it's out this Friday. So yeah, go see it.
I can't wait. I'm hoping that he shows up for that Valley Girl screening. And it's in town, so maybe he will, especially with Renfield being so huge and stuff. But fingers crossed. All right, kids. Good God. So much news. We did it for hours and hours and hours. And that means there's only one part left to the show. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what that part is. Oh, somebody said, hold on, and things we missed. They were like, what about fucking Scott Pilgrim? They're doing a Scott Pilgrim cartoon. Is that correct?
Indeed, for Netflix. Yeah,
For
it's an
Netflix.
anime.
So fucking, let me tell you
And they
something.
got the entire cast back.
That was pretty astounding. But
Yeah.
those kids all love that fucking movie. And God bless him for standing by it. When the movie came out, you know, I remember Edgar, bless his heart, like, you know, it was hurting at the box office. He stayed with that fucking movie. He went everywhere with that movie. He fucking stood by it, believed in that goddamn movie. And then that movie, of course, had its fucking, you know, very quickly, once it went to home video, that's when fucking its audience found it, I guess. And fucking people absolutely adore it. So I'm happy for them, man. They've got a cartoon coming their way.
Indeed.
And then somebody else asked about another thing. Let me see. I don't know, but we pretty much hit everything. Fuck, man. I mean, you heard all that news. Oh, DILF, what do you got? DILF Man.
Well, I'm just saying, are you actually going to ask for Q&A when like the entire opening of the show for like 30 minutes was Q&A?
Are you kidding me? In a world where they're paying for Q&A on Super Chat? Fuck yes. We'll take all their goddamn questions, man. Oh, wait. They EC Rose said, did you talk about the Barbie movie trailer? We did.
We did not. It certainly is a trailer.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet. I saw all the fucking pictures online, but I have not seen the Barbie trailer yet. I will. I look forward to it. I love both of those kids, Margot and fucking what's his fuck?
Ryan.
Oh, what's his fuck? Ryan.
Old what's his fuck?
Well, Simu Liu's in it too.
Who?
Simu Liu is in it. Yeah, I mean it's
talking about Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Shang-Chi is in the Barbie trailer. He's in the Barbie movie.
I'm sorry it took me this long to remember. Ryan Gosling. That's his last name. What is that Canadian boy's last name? What a great, there's another fucking great actor, man. And funny as fuck. Do you ever see him on SNL? Like anybody who goes to SNL and kills earns my fucking lifelong respect. And I know he's a wonderful actor and he's always been wonderful and everything, but like seeing that dude fucking crush on SNL does my heart good, man.
Yeah. Did you see this weekend with Molly Shannon?
Yes. And I was so fucking happy for her. Her big return.
Well.
She did. Oh, come on. It's Molly Shannon, man. How could she not do well? And she resurrected that character, that comedian character that's like, can I tell you, have you seen this? Janine Darcy, I forget what her name is. All right. Somebody said Kevin doesn't see things anymore. Benjamin said that. I do. I see a lot of things. I just haven't seen the fucking Barbie trailer. Scott Pilgrim is in Barbie too. What do they mean by that? Fucking Michael Cera's in Barbie?
Yeah. It's got a massive cast.
I love, I ain't in it, so what the fuck? I love Michael Cera, man. Michael Cera, of course, I love him from Arrested Development and other things he's done. But one of my favorite Michael Cera roles is in Molly's Game, movie with Jessica Chastain, where he essentially plays Tobey Maguire and shit. Like Michael Cera has always been like sweet Michael Bluth kid, but fuck, man. And of course he's been Scott Pilgrim. But him as fucking, you know, the poker player with no soul whatsoever, he pulled that shit off. I watched that movie a lot, and he's so fucking great in that movie. Anyway. Josh Mundahl, who fucking paid way too much money to ask questions in Super Chat, said this free thing, Gosling, the nice guys. That shows his comedic chops exquisitely. Fucking exactly, Josh. He literally does like an Abbott and Costello when he's next to the tree and there's a dead guy next to him. He's like, and shit like that. Oh my God, he's so fucking good in that movie. Excellent call. Okay. I guess.
Are there any real questions, or are they just shouting things in the chat?
No, I mean, there are people just, I was seeing if like we missed anything. Dungeons and Dragons, you see it?
I did see it.
And
I enjoyed it.
Did we talk about it or no?
I don't think we did. I dug it. You know, like Chris Pine is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that movie, and he's so
charming motherfucker. One of my favorite current actors working today, man. Ben Affleck shouted him out years ago. What was that movie he did? Smoking Aces. And I remember like before that movie came out, he was like, bro, there's a guy I worked with. He's got his name, and he told me is Chris Pine. And he goes, this kid is fucking phenomenal. And when I saw the movie, I was like, oh shit, he's right. He is really good. Then he became fucking Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, the best part of Wonder Woman 84 when he was like, do people wear parachutes nowadays? Like his delivery is so fucking good, man. And his dad was that dude from Chips, the boss on Chips.
Yeah.
He's a great fucking actor. Anyway, so he's good in this movie?
He's very good. He's really charming. It's a ton of fun. Like, it's not deep, but it's also not aiming for depth. You know, it tells some very predictable kind of character stories, but it's it does what you want it to do, which is not give you the feeling of playing D&D, because I don't think that's possible. But it's a fucking adventure. You know, it's just this little lark where we're traipsing off into the wild to, you know, save the guy's daughter from the evil who's he what's, and there's dragons and there's dungeons and there's evil sorceresses, and yeah, I mean there's not a ton to say. It's just fun.
Michael Morales in chat said and he's not the only one who brought this up, so apologies to whoever else brought this up. The one and only return is coming back to theaters for its 40th anniversary. Smodcastle screening. This is the first I'm fucking hearing about it. So we were just talking about how Disney has a vault and they won't fucking let anything out. Do you mean to tell me they're going to re-release fucking Return of the Jedi in theaters? Did you hear this?
Yeah, for its 40th anniversary.
When's that? May? Isn't that when they used to open every Star Wars movie in May?
Yeah, it would be. It would be May.
If they give us half a fucking shot, you better damn Skippy believe we'll be showing fucking Return of the Jedi at Smodcastle Cinemas. Go to smodcastlecinemas.com and look at the coming soon section, man. There's a ton of cool shit coming up. But oh my God. I mean, look, I was going to show the movie. What is it?
April 28th.
That's coming up.
That's 2 weeks.
I got to get in touch with Smodcastle keeper Ernie O'Donnell and make sure that he fucking programs that and shit. And I'll be there, I think, April 28th. I think I'm around for some other shit going on at that point. Let me tell you, man, I was going to show it anyway. Fuck Disney. But now that they're legitimately, don't tell them that. But now that they're legitimately letting it go back to theaters, fuck yeah, it'll be at Smodcastle Cinemas. God, yes, if they give us half a fucking chance. Give us a chance, Disney. Okay. Shall we Q&A it up?
If we have some cues that we haven't already made.
William Coates, Smith is stuck on the F word. You're just noticing now. I've been doing this job 30 fucking years. All I know how to say is fuck. And all I know how to do is fuck too.
I can testify to that.
Yes, DILF Man sure can. Tell us, DILF Man, what brings you into these proceedings?
Well, aside from all the wonderful people that are probably going to super chat now, I do have, if you want them, to ask these questions 3.
I do. What, you picked them?
Yeah, I picked them at random. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Did you pick them from Super Chat or were you diplomatic?
There is one super chatter in there.
Look at you. But you kept, so one from a super chatter and 2 from the normal ass plebes who don't pay for questions?
Well, yeah, because they were good questions, I thought. I could be proven wrong within moments.
Holy shit, man. Somebody just paid 220 something. What's that? What dollar figure is that?
Wow.
I'm guessing it might be something from the Indian area with INR in it.
Praveen Pandya says, we want Kevin's RRR review. Please make it happen, Mark. He needs to see this. And we fans need to see him gush about it.
Oh.
Camera. Somebody just said before, Kevin doesn't see anything anymore. And that's not true, but you're right about this because I have not seen RRR. I've come very close a few times based on Mark's beyond enthusiastic review of it.
Holy shit.
So I will get to it. Promises, I'm going to get to it, man. You know what I watched last night? I mean, this is so not fucking, from our world of genre, but fucking Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza.
Was it good?
Such a good fucking movie. She's like legit, man. Like, I know everyone loves her on like Parks and Rec and shit like that, but like, that was a damn good movie. And here's one other thing we should talk about, but I don't want to spoil it, but I got to fucking say something. Is anyone watching Succession?
I have never watched Succession, so you're safe with me.
I'm with that, dude.
You fucking neither of you have watched Succession?
I've heard it was I was gonna get into it. I heard it's the last season, so I'm like, oh wait.
This show, it is the last season, but they did a fucking thing on last night's episode unbelievable. And one of the best episodes of television I ever saw. My God, the acting on this show is fucking phenomenal. And I think the guy's name is Jesse Armstrong who created it. Maybe I'm wrong. Took a bold fucking choice and ran with it. And it fucking paid off. Like it was just fucking incredible. If you're not watching Succession, if you haven't watched Succession, like these fucking numbnuts, get to HBO fucking or HBO Max, wherever the fuck they run it. I watch it on HBO Max and watch the shit out of it, man. It's phenomenal. And an episode they did last night was fucking spellbinding, a spellbinding piece of dramaturgy, kids.
Fair.
I don't want to spoil anything, but fuck. It ain't just all Cousin Greg. I love fucking Nick and he's amazing on that show. But everybody in that show, everybody in the cast is just fucking mind-bendingly good. And fucking the Culkin kid, fucking Brian Cox, the original fucking Hannibal Lecter, Manhunter, Jeremy, what's his name? Jeremy, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Fucking look, they're all fucking great in the show. But man, they did an episode last night where I was like, I can't believe I can't believe what they did. It was astounding. In any event, back to the original question, I will watch fucking RRR.
You should. It's great.
Okay. DILF Man, who is a real big fucking super chat snob and shit, and he said it's going to ruin the show, and he's probably right, is taking the job seriously. He's picked 3 questions from the audience, only 1 from super chat, fucking 2 from the normal ass people who've supported this show forever and whatnot. He's going to bring us into the Q&A, man, which may go longer than 3 questions, because if I see fucking serious money going up on that super chat, you better believe I'm going to answer that question.
Hold on, let me flip that switch real quick.
Yeah.
What
I'm
do you
gonna
mean?
tap out and it'll just be Kev here just fucking answering questions, like going on hour 5.
Josh Mundhall backs me up with a super chat, $4.99, but he don't have to pay more. He fucking overpaid us before. He said Succession is what Billions could have been. I only watched season 1 of Billions and I kind of fell off, not because it was bad, just because like there were other things to watch. He says, if you're into a very Sorkin style show, I don't even know if I would consider Succession a Sorkin style show. I don't mean to argue with somebody who's put so many fucking dollars into the super chat tonight, but Succession is really quite. I saw somebody describe it as like fucking Dallas or Dynasty in the current age, but it ain't that. I don't know how to describe it except I've never enjoyed watching rich people on TV. I'm not like one of those people like my mom when we used to watch Dynasty when I was a kid. She just, oh my God, look at the wealth. Like she didn't give a fuck about the story, man. She was all about how rich everyone was and shit. This is one of the only fucking stories about rich people that I've ever enjoyed in my life. But I don't even know if that's the right way to sell it. It's just a great piece of drama, just set in the world of the fucking sickly rich. Anyway, over to DILF Man, sitting in for Banff Man, who is over in the UK. If you joined us late, Banff Man did a wonderful fucking 6-minute piece from Celebration, Star Wars Celebration over in the UK. Go watch that. But while he's gone, fucking DILF Man is all over this shit. And DILF Man is going to give us some questions. DILF Man, take it away. This show has been going on for 1,000 hours now.
I don't want to say it feels that way.
What time did we start?
After my imposed delays, I think about 6:10, 6:13 maybe. So
it's been over 3 hours, and we're nowhere close to stopping because now we've got the Q&A. Look, I don't know about anybody else in the audience, but I've been having a good ass fucking time tonight, man. Like, I miss all this shit. When we didn't do it for a few weeks, I was fucking fiending, man, for a fix.
Now we're back.
Fucking pop culture junk.
So you
What
ready?
do we got?
All right.
No, I want to talk about our show a little more. Yes.
That's fine, man. It's your show. The Dorky Review Show, who was our super chatter that contributed a wonderful $10. Thank you so much. Asked the question, if Marvel gave Marc and Kevin the reins to write a multiverse scene in the next Deadpool, where Deadpool and Wolverine land in the DC universe for a bit, what iconic scenes or characters would you have them interact with?
So it's in the DC universe?
Yes, but
Wolverine
still
and
in a Deadpool movie with Wolverine. So Deadpool 3, mythical scene. What infamous scene do you have them drop in from the comics, or what characters do you have them go with?
My first instinct is Bane breaking Batman, so that Deadpool can make fun of fucking Batman for getting his back broken, something that, you know, fucking Deadpool can't be fucking killed, as we've seen over and over again. So I think there's humor to be mined there. My next spot would be Flash on the cosmic treadmill in fucking Crisis. And my next fucking scene would be Doomsday, spoilers, Doomsday kills Superman. 20-year spoilers. I'd have him jump in on that scene. Those are 3. You only asked for 1, I gave you 3. Mark?
I feel like I want Deadpool and Wolverine to drop in on a sound of her wings in the Sandman, just to talk about how fucking mopey Dream is. Like, look at this fucking pale ghost. What's your damage, dude? And then to have Logan get to talk to Death about, I won't die. Yeah, you will. No, I won't. Haven't done it yet. Been alive for 400 years. Not gonna die anytime soon. Fuck you. Fuck you. Thin white Duke. Fuck you. They're a crime alley. I think crime alley is just waiting for humor.
Oh my God, what an excellent fucking pull. How many jokes they can make about those fucking pearls.
Yeah.
Excellent pull right there. Because that's one of the most solemn moments in DC history, responsible for giving us one of the most solemn fucking heroes in the world. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's ripe for parody.
Yeah. What's that kid so fucking sad about? I don't know. That was his parents? Maybe he's just a sad fucking kid. Maybe he killed them. Hey, kid, did you kill those 2 people?
Or just have him be like, why didn't you fucking kill the guy that killed your parents?
Yeah. It's fucking nut up, kid.
Nut up.
Hey, go say hi to your mother for me. Oh, your mother's dead. Oh, sorry about that.
Cheer up, Charlie. They could just sing that song. Before DILF Man comes back, somebody said, Kaylin Baby in chat said, did you talk about Michael Lerner? We did not. The great Michael Lerner passed away. What a wonderful actor he was, and many wonderful roles, including John Hamburg's Safe Man, where he played Big Fats. But I believe he fucking won an Oscar, or at least was nominated for Barton Fink, if I'm correct, which still to this day remains one of my favorite performances of all time. His fucking moments in the sun in fucking Barton Fink are phenomenal. When I saw that he passed away, instantly I went to YouTube and watched all of his scenes in Barton Fink. Him as the head of the studio, he's the one that's like, we all want that Barton Fink feeling, but I assume you have it in spades because you're him. And his line where he's like, because I've got horse sense, goddammit. Showmanship. Oh, he's so fantastic. He's the writer's king at Capitol Pictures. A wonderful performer and a wonderful performance. But yes, he passed away. Damn.
Nominated for Fink, but did not.
Nominated. Thank you. He should have fucking won. Not only was he fucking nominated and should have won Best Supporting, they should have given him Best Actor. He's so good in that. Go to YouTube, enter Barton Fink, Michael Lerner, and watch those scenes. It's just a fucking clinic on fast-talking comedic performance. It is wonderful. He will be missed. DILF Man, come on back.
DILF. Okay, thank you. That's wonderful. I'm not giving my answer because I don't have enough reference. You know, all of my stuff is I would just literally have them fall into any random episode of the Super Friends. That's what I would do.
You know what? Not bad. Not bad considering that you're fucking, you know, not as armed as the rest of us with this nonsense. Not bad. As you can see, there's an Iron Man, there's a Spider-Man, there's a Captain America shield, so you know where fucking Will's heart is. But for considering you don't go deep on DC, that's a good pull right there, man.
Well, this is what happens when you get your Bamf Man off Wish. That's all I'll say. Okay, ready for the next question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir.
Suddenly I went into game show mode. Z Howard 1992 asked, if you had the cupboard from Indian in the Cupboard, what childhood toys of yours would you put in it, and how would they interact?
Wow, that is a great question. What an excellent goal. If I go like this, you never see this part of the room and shit like that. Like there's a big giant naked portrait of my wife over there and stuff. On this shelf right there, over here, are all pieces of my fucking childhood. Shit that like I used to own as a kid and still own as an adult that came directly from my childhood in 21 Jackson Street. So I'm going to look at this shelf and tell you what it would be. Okay, I got a McDonald's Playland set. It wasn't by Fisher. I think Fisher Price made it, or maybe it was Play School. I forget who made it, but it wasn't the round old Fisher Price figures and shit. These were square. And there was one of them, you know, one of the it came with like it was at McDonald's, and it has the big sign, and inside you could move the fast food trays, the trays with stickers of the fast food and shit. And the McDonald's workers are represented by hat-wearing individuals. They don't wear hats anymore at McDonald's, as we all know and stuff. But that figure, the one of them, I'll grab it. It was called, I called the figure My Little Man. You know how like kids carry a blanket like they're silky or they're fucking, what do they call that shit? Like fucking nubby? No, fucking, what is it when you call like a security blanket, like Linus'
Right.
security blanket?
You're whoopsie.
Like a
You're
whoopee?
Whoopee, like a whoopee. That was the word I was searching for. This McDonaldland figure, which I'll go grab when, Marc does his answer and shit, was my fucking whoopee, and I took it everywhere. And the thing is, it became so worn that the head could come off of it very easily. But then I turned him into the Invisible Man, because like you could fucking make him invisible by his head comes off and then fucking the body goes away and shit like that. I would bring my little man to life. I know everyone's thinking about my dick. No, that's not what my little man is. It's this figure from my McDonald's playset. Now, this is not the original McDonald's playset. That fucking probably went in the garbage years ago. Thank you, mother. I went and bought one of these online so I could rebuy a piece of my childhood and shit. I said, look, Disney can't have it all. And so I went and bought this McDonald's playset. And so it sits on my shelf, more indicative of my youth, not an actual fucking remnant from my youth. I would bring I put my little man in the cupboard. I'd bring my little man to life, and we'd be best friends again, just like we were in my childhood. The other thing I'd grab probably, they made this, remember the SST things where you pull it back?
Oh, yeah.
Launch it. I got a series of Snoopy SSTs, man, from childhood. I was a big Peanuts fan and remain a big Peanuts fan. And I played with this thing forever. Snoopy became my next little man. I would carry that around because you could take a rubber Snoopy, put him in the fucking motorcycle. It had, some of the motorcycles broke apart and shit like that. I'd fucking bring that shit to life. Number one, me and Snoopy would finally be friends in real life. Number two, Snoopy drove a motorcycle and some of them had sidecars, and I would happily sit next to a motorcycle driving Snoopy. This is the man who flew the Sopwith camel. When I say man, I mean dog. So I would do that. And then for a third, oh my God, Weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That's right, Marc remembers. I'd bring a Weeble to life and shit like that. Because I loved fucking Weebles. I had the Jaws game, you know, where you put shit in his mouth and you pull shit off and then it chomps you clothes and shit, and that's how you lose. So I would play Jaws because they didn't have Jaws action figures back in the day, but they did have this Jaws game. But I had three Weebles. One was Captain Quint. That was the pirate Weeble. One was fucking the guy who just had the W on his shirt and shit. That was my Chief Brody Weeble. And then there was one who had glasses. That was my Matt Hooper Weeble. So I bring those Weebles to life, man. They years later, they made different Weebles, which don't look like the real Weebles as far as I'm concerned.
Fuck those Weebles.
Those are the three, man. Marc, you go, and I'm going to go grab my shit.
I'm afraid that I don't have nearly as tight a bond to my childhood toys the way Kev does. I mean, the first real toys that I remember getting were Star Wars figures. Star Wars and GI Joe. I was never, perish the thought. I was never a huge He-Man guy. I mean, I had a few He-Man figures, but I was never. That was not the one that I went deep on. I think I went deep.
Dude, you wrote fucking on a goddamn He-Man show. You better say He-Man. We were actually too old for He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man just it missed me, in that sort of demographic zone. I was not that kid.
I wanted the toys, but my parents were like, we did Star Wars. We're not starting a whole other fucking thing for you.
Yeah, you are done now.
Yes.
But I think if I could put anything in the cupboard and have it come to life and then roll around with me pocket sized, because they're not going to be like fucking life size, they're this big, is I think I would put Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe in there, because who couldn't use a pocket sized ninja? Like, just to solve problems, man. Like, it's like my bodyguard, but in your pocket and doesn't say a lot, but you can talk to and you just nod. It's like, yeah, man. Like, no, I get you. I feel you. Like, yeah, you're mute. That's okay. But I can slice anybody you need me to slice. So yeah, I go Snake Eyes. That's a fucking Weeble.
That's a Weeble right there, kids. And that was the Weeble who played Roy Scheider in my version of Jaws. This is the Snoopy SST cycle. This one don't break apart. See, he's got Woodstock in the back, but the Snoopy actually comes out and stuff. He's got like a bottom, so you can work him like a finger puppet if your fingers are very small, like a child's. Mine
What happened to his legs?
I know, he's a legless Snoopy. So if you go like this, it's all good. You go like this, it's horrifying. But you put him in the cycle and shit, and then you fucking yank it back, and you turn the handle and you press the click, and it went across the floor and shit. This, though, is not my original little man, but this is what the little man looked like.
Wow.
And if his head could come off, this one's secure and shit, but I pick his head off and I pretend he was the Invisible Man. This motherfucker, and again, not this exact one. My real little man is lost to the ages, but a little man that looked exactly like this spent so much time in my hand as a child. And shout out to my brother Donald. We were at my grandparents' house in Edison, New Jersey. Was it Edison? No, I think it wasn't. Where was it? Hillside. I think Hillside. That's what it is. Past whatever. Fuck. Now I'm deep in the weeds of New Jersey. But in any event, we're at my grandparents' house, and by the staircase up to my grandparents' house was like a tiny fucking crevice where the wall met the fucking doorway and shit. And he fit into this fucking crevice. And my brother, this ain't gonna make anybody fucking laugh, but this would make me cry laughter as a child. And I'm talking 5 years old. My brother would put him in that little crevice and he would sing, "I'm in my little corner of the world." And oh my God, that was the funniest thing ever. So if you ever liked Clerks or fucking Mallrats or any of the comedies I ever did, it begins with my brother singing, "I'm in my little corner of the world," with my little man right there. He's meant to be wearing a hat, kids, because back in the day, McDonald's employees wore little hats like that.
Technology.
Yeah. What a fucking wonderful walk down memory lane that was for me. I know a bunch of people were like, good God. But
yeah, BJ Fisher in chat mentioned the $6 Million Man toy, which I remember, like I had one of those with the little discs that you could slide in his fucking head.
His bionics were in his arm. You could take the bionics off. You could look through the eye in the hole in the back of his head for a bionic eye. It had a magnifying eye and shit. And his arm would go click, 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 click.
Yep.
Came with a motor engine, like the engine of a fucking car that he could lift up and stuff. And he had roll down skin to cover his bionics.
Yep.
I had all those fucking dolls, man. I had $6 Million Man. I had Oscar Goldman in the exploding briefcase. I had the rocket that fucking you could do operations on, fucking $6 Million Man. And yes, I had Jamie Summers, man.
Of course.
Because I've loved it all.
That's dedication. See, Mark stole my thunder because I was going to say I would put my $6 Million Man in there. And then the only other thing I would put in, well, probably my G.I. Joe, because that poor thing went through hell and back. He deserves a chance to live and interact with other things. But the last thing I would put in, nobody's going to know these, but my dad used to work for the company that made heavy construction equipment, Komatsu. So he would always go away on a business trip, or when they would get new models, their little die-cast models of their older units, he would be able to bring them home for me. So I would put them in there so that way they could be a little mechanical army for the Bionic Man and G.I. Joe with one leg and drawing all over his head. I just know if they came to life, though, they would just judge me.
They were like, why DILF Man?
Pretty much. This is what you became. We had such hope for you.
Somebody mentioned in chat that is Endeleas Music said Planet of the Apes was my jam. Shout out to every Mego doll ever made. I had a Joker Mego doll. I had a General Urko or Ursus Mego doll. I wanted fucking all the Mego dolls, but like generally any Mego doll I had was a hand-me-down or something I found in the garbage. Yes, I was a garbage picker. But man, oh man, the Mego owned my childhood.
They had the defining toys because we all grew up on reruns of Batman and Robin, and those were the main Megos. Anyway,
he ain't lying. DILF Man ain't lying, kids. Excellent pull. All right.
Last question.
Well, we'll see if it's last because Super Chat might fucking pay to ask a question.
Everybody else that was spending money fell asleep. I'm gonna get talked to later. Adam,
hold on, man. Brian Christian in chat said Tonka toy trucks. That's for the rich kids. But I remember the commercial. It's a Tonka toy, built Tonka strong, built Tonka tough just for fun. Tonka was a big part of my fucking childhood as well.
I had a couple Tonkas, but I wouldn't put them in the cupboard because then you just get a small truck.
No magic there.
No, it's just a tiny truck without a driver.
Well, now I got to ask.
You know what I put in that cupboard? My dead father. Then he could come back.
A swirl of sentient dust.
The Sandman.
I'd put that urn in the closet, and then he'd be like, let me the fuck out. Where's the rest of me? I'd be like, in an urn that looks like dolphins, Dad. Too long to explain, but there's some dignity here.
Stick a Monchichi in there and just ask it, why do you exist?
Wow, what a deep cut that is. Monchichi.
Oh, so soft and cuddly. Monchichi.
Yeah. See, look, bunch of, never mind. We had
jingles, kids. When we were young, we didn't just have toys, we had jingles. So if you couldn't afford the toys, you could at least sing the jingles.
Okay,
we're ready.
Always better than the toys. Yeah, bring it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Mark. Adam Kimmelman from the chat asked, you're tasked to remake The Odd Couple, but with genre characters. Who's your neat freak Felix? Well, we know who the people are, but who's your Felix Sumner and who's your Oscar Madison?
So Felix has to be fastidious. And Oscar has to be kind of like a slob. Well, I mean, I guess Todd McFarlane did it with Sam and Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. They kind of fit that mold. But let's see, who would be mine? Linus Van Pelt would be my Felix. Pigpen.
Ooh.
My Oscar. I'd go right to the fucking Peanuts, kids. Right to those depressed Peanuts children.
Those Depression era urchins.
I was talking to my brother about it when I was back in Florida, but I was like, it's crazy to me that fucking the Peanuts aren't as big now as when we were children, because now kids are really depressed. Like, you know, Charles Schultz was a middle-aged man, or, you know, at least an adult when he was doing Little Folks and like all these stories about like fucking the first, I don't know who I was talking about with this. I'm John Gordon, I think, my friend. First time I ever heard the term psychiatric was fucking from the Peanuts. And I was like 6 years old. And I was like, how do you pronounce this word? And my sister was like, psychiatric. I was like, what does that mean? She's like, that's a head doctor for people who are crazy. And, you know, Charles Schultz was like way ahead of his time in terms of like, he drew cute characters, but they were sassy as fuck. One of the first strip of Lil Folks, which is what became Peanuts and the home of Charlie Brown. So I forget which characters are sitting there and like, here comes Charlie Brown. Good old Charlie Brown. There's Charlie Brown. And the last panel is the kids going, God, I hate him. Shit's dark, very dark. So I choose Linus Van Pelt and I choose Pigpen only because A, it works, and B, because I'm going to try to keep Peanuts love alive, man.
Did you ever see, it was a thing that swept the internet for all of half an hour, like 5 or 6 years ago, but it was Garfield without Garfield, where someone would just like pull Garfield out of, that's just John having existential crises, standing over the kitchen.
Saying things to nothing.
Saying
Expressing things to nothing. Yes. Oh my God, that was wonderful. Garfield without Garfield. Boy, that pulls me back to the early days of the internet.
There was also, it was like Peanuts -1, where they would always pull the last frame out of Peanuts. So it would just give you the 3-panel setup, but not the joke at the end. And then it's just a bunch of sad, depressed children.
That fucking works. I'm going to look for that online. That's fucking funny. As an old time Peanuts fan, that sounds good to me.
Strong work. I think I go with Hank McCoy as your Felix Unger, and Logan as your Oscar Madison. I think it's Beast and Wolverine, but Beast is the neat freak. Beast is the fastidious one, and then Wolverine just has fucking beer cans everywhere and just shit in the woods. He doesn't care.
Excellent. Shit in the woods. When has he ever fucking shit in the woods?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he had.
There's that fucking scene that James Mangold cut out of Logan.
What are you doing, Logan? Shitting in the woods, man. I don't know.
Excellent fucking pull.
Good times
on that. Endless Music said, what is the Fat Man on Batman runtime record, or Fat Man Beyond rather runtime record? I don't know. Good question. Definitely 3 hours. We've done 3 hours before.
We've done 3 hours. We've done 3 hours like standing at the bar.
Ooh, this is $2 in super chat, but it's fucking worth talking about. Recovery Unplugged said, hi, Kevin. I'm a mental health advocate. So am I, in a big bad way. More now than I've ever been in my life, but more on that later in the coming weeks.
Or if you want to join that Kevin Smith Club, you can hear Smeditations.
Oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you for helping me fucking sell that. If you join that Kevin Smith Club, kids, which is like my Patreon or whatever the fuck, I used to do a show called Wake and Bake there because I smoked weed and would smoke weed and fucking chit chat. But since I don't smoke weed anymore, I felt like calling it Wake and Bake was weird. And then for a while I was like, well, we could change it to this. We could change it to that. But as of this morning, I launched Wake and Bake is finished. Last episode I did was me talking about my mom being in the hospital and shit. But now the show is called Smeditations, where we talk about mental health amongst other things and whatnot. You can join that Kevin Smith Club and watch that show all you want. It's on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And in a world where you're fucking overpaying for super chat, my God, go join that Kevin Smith Club. It's way cheaper and you'll get answers fast. Is that it? I mean,
unless you're going to suddenly try and invoke the super chat gods and raise them and the funds.
What happens to the super chatters that like went away? Like that a donkey show, that dorky review show says, why did Kevin stop smoking weed? I missed that episode. I've talked about it before, especially right here. It's too long to go into, but long story short, I'd like to be present. And weed was wonderful for 15 years straight, but it allowed me to be present while not being present at all. And now I just want to be present. Nico gave us $53.90 of some currency, which I don't recognize, just to give us a goddamn thumbs up. Fucking A, man.
Good. Thanks, Nico.
How sweet.
To answer your question, Kevin, I can show you a different interface that you can work from where you can see all of them. I'm looking at them all right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, man.
How come I don't have that?
Because you're scared of new things.
He ain't wrong.
Because
He ain't wrong. That's why there's a Clerks 3 as opposed to like anything new. Yeah, I don't got any super chatters, man.
I used to.
Although Josh Mundall just jumped in once again. Josh spent like $500 tonight. Don't do that, Josh. He says, but we cannot have a direct chat with you on the club site, Kevin. So this is the direct way to communicate with you and Mark, my brother. He's right, but you can have a direct chat with me because now I'm going to start going into the, what's it called, Will?
The Discord.
Thank you, Will.
Oh, you got a Discord.
Yeah, he's got a
Discord.
All club members can go to the Discord, and there is an AKA channel in there. So ask Kev anything.
And Will is going to teach me how to use the Discord so I could fucking jump in there and play.
You say teach you, but really it's just like, here, log in here, click this, go. It's nothing, man.
Well, I don't fucking learn from reading, Will. I need to be taught a fucking thing, told a thing by a person. Case in point, I ain't read a fucking book in years. You could tell by my language that must be the case. You know what I just discovered?
Books. No.
Fucking Audible, man. Like fucking.
Wait, hold on. I have personally sold advertising space on this podcast.
I know. I just never listened to them. I listened to my own audiobook once when I recorded it and shit, and they sent it to me, and it's like, all right, that sounds like me. But Scott Mosier was like, you know what book you got to read? The Courage to Be Disliked. Is that what the title is? Hold on. I want to say it. I want to get it right. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it's written by Ichiro Kishimi. Is that right?
Close enough.
Yeah, good enough. And Fumitake Koga. The Japanese phenomenon that shows you how to change your life and achieve real happiness. So, Mosier's like, you should read this. And I'm like, bro, you know me. I never got time to read a goddamn book and shit like that. That's never going to happen. And he's like, why don't you just listen to it? And I was like, fucking newfangled, listen to. They've only had books on tape for the last like fucking 40 years and shit. So I fucking joined Audible, and I go hiking, running every day, and I'm in the car a lot. I always listen to the same 100 fucking songs over and over and over again. Now all of a sudden I'm listening to this book. I'm on chapter fucking 30. Like, this is amazing. I know it's a free commercial for Audible, but fuck it. I'm loving the fuck out of this book, The Courage to Be Disliked. And I don't know if you can say I've read a book anymore if somebody says it to you. But I'm learning. Can you?
Yeah.
That counts, so I can be like, I read it, even though I didn't.
You ingested the content of the book.
Good enough for me, man. The Rob Brown channel says Kevin Smith, writer, discovers books. I've been busy making shit, so I stopped reading shit and whatnot. But this gives me a chance to like go hiking and not fucking listen to the same 100 songs over and over again. Now I'm fucking listening to this book, and there's something oddly comforting about somebody reading your book. And I also cognize a lot better somebody saying shit to me rather than me reading it. Most of the shit I would read would just be lost on me and shit. And now instead, I could rewind it and be like, what did they fucking say? This book has taught me so many good things, man. The Courage to Be Disliked. So yes, I don't know how I got started on this thread, but
I don't either. But I will also say that most of the books that I've quote unquote read for the last 5 years or so have been audiobooks.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I'm in the car a lot. And like I used to listen to lots of podcasts, but like people will send me books like, hey, do you want to like maybe think about adapting this? You want to take a run at this? Or I wrote a book or whatever it is. It's like, great. And download it right away and start listening to it. Because when I had a train commute on the East Coast, I used to read a lot. But without a train and just in my car, that was just dead time. And so that's become the way I like begin to ingest shit.
And he's the smartest guy on this fucking show, kids. We all know that. So if Mark fucking advocates for listening to a book, then goddamn it, listening to a book we shall. I've been loving it. Believe me, this ain't the last book I'm going to listen to. Now I'm going to listen to more books because that's how I fucking learn.
You're an auditory learner, not a visual learner.
See, if I was the smartest guy on the show, I would have said that 10 minutes ago. Josh Mundhall paid $9.99. Stop fucking paying money, Josh, to say this. Oh, by the way, forgot in Jersey, He-Man was the bomb, yo. Transcendental meditation will help a lot with mental health and happiness. Sobriety is a daily choice. You've got more support than you realize. That's very fucking sweet. Thank you. Recovery Unplugged jumped back in with $10 to say, this is Amy. Will you be able to be at my Letters to Daniel screening at Smodcastle May 19th, 7 p.m.? She's going to get a free commercial out of this. Amy did this flick called Letters to Daniel, which she's bringing to Smodcastle, as you heard, on May 19th, 7 p.m. Why? Let me check my calendar, Amy.
Well, not free. She spent $30 overall.
Did she? May 19th. I believe I may be there. I believe I may be there, Amy. Letters to Daniel, kids. Come see it at Smodcastle Cinemas at May 19th. Tickets at smodcastleCinemas.com. And good seeing you again, Amy. But don't, we know each other. Don't fucking pay me to ask it, to say things, especially to say nice things like that. Keith says, with super chats, we will be here 5 hours. I don't think anyone wants that. So we should wrap up.
I think we should.
Although Corey Gilmartin just spent $5 to say this. Hey, Kev, had a blast at the John Wick 4 screening at Smodcastle last Saturday. He was there to watch Wick with Kev. Thanks for staying after to talk with me and Katie. So hype for Guardians 3 and 420. Yeah, man. When is Guardians open?
May 4th.
Yeah. First weekend of May.
May 4th. I got to see if I'm going to be there for that, because I definitely want to fucking do that. Like, that's how we get to do the Merry Marvel Movie Society, since I can't show the old shit. You got to do there. And fuck if that, have you seen that little piece they put up online? The like, fucking bunch of the cast sitting there talking about like how this is the end, and fucking, it's like interview footage mixed with the trailer. All of them fucking talk about like, bring tissues, man. Like, is all fucking heart in this one around. I can't wait. I want James Gunn to make me cry so badly. You can call me a masochist. I don't give a fuck.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, no shit. The trailer makes me emotional.
Well, May the 4th, you're there for Revenge of the Smith. That's all I can tell you.
And when does this open?
May 4th.
Oh shit. So I'm going to be there.
Apparently so.
Guess what we'll be adding to the schedule?
Guess what you're competing with?
Bird. Like an upside down bird. I will be flying there. Guardians of the Galaxy, the same as Star Wars Day, says Brian Christian in chat. There you go. And I'll be there for that shit, man. Can't wait. I saw a trailer at San Diego Comic-Con last year when they did the fucking, Marvel panel and shit, which they've never released. One, To the Flaming Lips, Do You Realize, was like one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my fucking life. That made it very emotional. But fucking every trailer they've put together. Since You've Been Gone fucking trailer, like, I can't wait. James Gunn gonna make us all cry. And I'm here for it.
Indeed.
Kids, have you enjoyed? Does Kev know that YouTube takes a cut of super chats, says Gorf? They told me earlier in the broadcast, man.
At the rate you're going, does it matter?
Yes. Excellent point, DILF Man.
There's free money.
Kids, for those who hate my films, don't worry. I'm going to give up filmmaking because this super chat shit, that's where my future lies. Answering questions for money. That's what I used to do Q&As for years anyway. So now we just get to do it from home. Thank you for all you super chatters who came and threw money at us and shit like that. We can afford to pay people like Will Wilkins, DILF Man himself. Thanks to your largesse. Thanks for everyone else, even the people that didn't fucking pay for super chat. And you don't have to pay for super chat, kids. I'm sure when this show is done, I'm going to get talked to by 100 people who are like, stop it.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah, you're going to kill the show. And I said, we killed the show a long time ago.
Nobody's coming for you. They're coming for Austin.
Is that right? Leave Austin alone. He's my boy. That's my son, for God's sakes.
You
And
live-
actually, as he pointed out, because he texted me, be like, "Don't fucking credit me with Super Chat." The one who who deserves the credit for me knowing about Super Chat was my kid who paid Peter Sharetta and his fucking Disney, his I Love Disney show, him and his lady. I don't know what it's called. I'm not doing it justice. But she told me, she was like, I paid $10 to ask a question on Super Chat. And I was like, wait a second, what? And she described what it is. And I was like, you can do this shit now. And so it ain't Austin, it's Harley who introduced me to Super Chat. There it is, kids. Did you enjoy yourselves? I fucking had a good ass time. If we keep this going for another 10 minutes, it'll be a 4-hour fucking show.
I can't do it.
Jason just gave us $5 in Super Chat to say, I just got Clerks 3. The ending got me teary-eyed. Why, thank you. I've been living with, for months now, people on Twitter saying respectfully, fuck you, because I made them emotional with Clerks 3. You're welcome. Have you enjoyed yourselves as much as I did? Well, if you did, it's because of the guy. Fuck, I never do it right. The guy right there, kids.
There
The
it is.
guy fucking without the smartest man on fucking, or woman on fucking Fat Man Beyond, kids, is Marc Bernardin. This show ain't nothing without the great Marc Bernardin. Give it up for Marc Bernardin, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
And this week, my God, proving that fucking he doesn't know shit about Star Wars like fucking Banff Man, but God damn it, if he didn't produce the fuck out of this show. Give it up for fucking DILF Man. DILF in here.
DILF. Hello. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Will.
I appreciate it. I'm
Will Wilkins, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm very sales oriented, I guess.
Rightfully so. Somebody got to be. Speaking of sales, kids, are you in Los Angeles? Come see me and Marc Bernardin. No. Me and Marc Bernardin when we figure out when that show's going to be. But this Saturday, come see me and Ralph Garman doing Hollywood Babylon. You want to see me and Marc Bernardin in New Jersey? You go to smodcastlecinemas.com right now. Go to the coming soon section. Tickets on sale for the August, what is it?
25th.
August 25th, Fat Man Beyond. And on August 26th, there may or may not be Keep Calm and Curry On, but it's on sale now, so I don't know what the fuck Ernie's talking about. Come see us, for heaven's sakes. Come to Smodcastle Cinemas. I'm coming there all throughout the next few weeks, man. Don't forget 420, Jane Silent Bob reboot. 421, Trailer Park. 422 is sold out. That's Chasing Amy with Jason Lee. And then Revenge of the Smith on May 5th. But I'm going to be there now for fucking May 4th for Guardians of the fucking Galaxy and shit like that. Watch that with Kev. What else are we doing? May 6th is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back with Jason Mewes. May 7th is Drawing Flies with Malcolm Ingram and Jason Mewes. May 28th is fucking Jersey Girl, the Snyder cut. What the fuck is, what's IDR 50,000? What fucking what
Indonesian
50,000? We're rich.
I just want it to be like Ruples.
We can quit the show. 50,000. Hey, Kev, fan from Indonesia here. When are we going to get the continuation of the Batman movie commentaries? They're hilarious. What a great question.
Yeah.
50,000, whatever that is, you're going to get a goddamn answer. When will it be, Mark?
It can be whenever you want it to be, Kev. I think all we have to do is we got Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. And then we're done.
Is that right?
And then The Batman, if we want to go all the way through.
I'm sorry, did that?
Did you guys see my face?
Did people see that on fucking live? I mean, how about we'll do the first 2 hours of The Batman, but then when it's like there's a flood out of nowhere, like yes.
The Sandman comes in and pulls them off.
Oh, deep cuts, wonderful pull. No, Warrior Fella, did somebody really just gave away 50K? No, because as Roberto Hoyos points out, it's $3.36. But still, that 50,000 was an impressive looking fucking number. Kids, there you go. You wanted some Fat Man Beyond, you got it, and it wouldn't fucking stop at all. $3.36. $3.36. 36 cents. That's what that 50,000 IDR number is. We don't give a shit. Money's money. And
Money's
you know, YouTube took 30% of that, but I don't give a shit.
And this went long, strong, because we're down to get the friction on.
Baby got back.
Word them up, Doc.
There it is, kids. Fucking we'll be back with episodes. What is it?
399 and 400.
You better bet that episode 400 is going to happen in the next 2 weeks, and it's going to happen at fucking Scum and Villainy Cantina. And then the only question is whether 399 is an in-person show or fucking one of these things. But now that fucking Super Chat exists, I'm never going back to the fucking
401 to 500 is back on the Super Chat.
Marc ain't lying, man. Don't be shocked if I just do a whole ass Super Chat show.
Kevin Super Chat, a love story. Just every
I'm gonna
week.
create a podcast called Kev Super Chat, and that's all we're gonna do. Throw me a shekel. Throw me a fucking 2 bits. Throw me 50,000 of whatever that was for $3.36, and I'll answer your goddamn questions.
Toss a coin to your smither.
Yeah, fucking A.
There it is.
There it is, my friends. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same Super Chat time. Same Super Chat channel. Smodcast.com.
Or youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
A super chatty Jeff's kiss to you all. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Fucking Will pops up again. It's all Will at the end of the show. Look at
Ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,